but unfortunately.
Person, place, or thing, okay? That's a noun, all right? A person, if I create a contract, it becomes a person. If I create a trust, it becomes a person. If you look at Coca-Cola, the company, is a person. Would you consider that a person? No, but it is.
No, not really. But legally, I guess it could be. I don't agree with that concept, but legally, I guess it could be.
It has many of the rights.
Legally, it becomes a person, and what you are is part of the people. Unfortunately, people aren't realizing that everything is a transaction with another person, and which means contract. You're contracting everywhere, and the only way you can contract is through that two-dimensional piece of paper. So your person is contracting with their person is contracting with another person, because fiction can contract. Man with fiction. Man can't contract with fiction. Man can contract with man. And that's just a handshake. That can be, we speak it, we know it, but that person, place, or thing, listen, there's the verbiage of things. When we look at the English language, and this is going back to the guys that did the parse thing, the pen is on the table is an improper statement because of the verb-adverb syntax of that. The more proper statement would be the brown pen is on, or the red pen is on the brown table, because verb and adverbs turning the next word after an adverb into an action word, a verb. So when a noun, table, becomes a verb, it's in action, it's fucking flying. So it doesn't make sense. Therefore, the statement the is more proper than the pen is on the table, because both pen and table are now action words based on the adverb placed in front of pen and placed in front of table. So our language just gets us really fucked up. The reality is we don't understand it. We've been trained or indoctrinated to believe babble. And then the courts come in with legalese or Latin, and they confuse the fuck out of you the rest of the way.
I mean, I agree that the concept of person is probably fucked up. The entire notion of what we are supposed to be is probably fucked up. But we live in the society we live in. We can't just ignore it. We can't just pretend it doesn't exist.
I got a couple of questions for you, brother Kizumi. I got a couple of questions. Are you a spiritual guy that follows the scripture?
I am a pantheist, so
okay. The scripture that I go by, which is known as the law of the land here for the American nationals and stuff, whatever they want to call them, is the King James version of the Bible. Now, the scriptures, as far as I know through my research throughout the world, say the same thing through their scriptures. And in the King James version of the Bible, it says that God formed man of the dust of the ground. And when he breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, man became a living soul. So I trick people up just by asking them if they're a man, and they want to stick their chest out with all their ego and say, yeah. And then I refer to the scripture, because if they're a spiritual guy in that scripture and they read that scripture, they find out that you're not supposed to trust another man. You're not supposed to shake the hand of another man, and that you're not actually a man. You're a fucking living soul. Everybody's classifying you as a man or a woman. That's agriculture. That's farming. That's male and female. Male and female created he them, and he called their name Adam. How come nobody wants to use that fucking pronoun?
What, Adam?
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah,
Adam.
the original pronoun. Adam. See, that's the thing that they left out for you, Kizumi. They left out the spiritual growth. See, they didn't tell you that you are male and female both. They brought you up thinking you're a man, but you didn't have any men around. It was the women growing you up. And the women that were growing you up said, fuck it, I don't need a man. How can that be? You are both man and woman. You cannot live life without a man, and you cannot live life without a woman. It's an impossibility. Y'all confused. That's
well, I mean, I agree that society has been shoving forth this notion that men don't matter, and men don't matter in especially in the way that people are raised, and it sucks. It's horrible. It's having a terrible effect on society. Absolutely horrible. And I can relate my own personal experiences with how horrible that is. So yes.
Yeah, and that's the problem. See, God first, then the Son of Man, and then woman. See, a woman doesn't tell a man what to do because a woman can't protect a man. That's why man comes after God and Son. If it was meant for children to protect the parents, it would be children, and then mom and dad. No, it's God, Christ, man, woman, child. The child gets all protection from all four levels. If he doesn't, he's fucked. If one link in that chain is broken, it's fucked.
Are you picking up what he's putting down, kissing me?
I am. Yeah, and I agree.
A lot of people don't get this, that this world is full of deception, that the words, they're trickery. I mean, put the S on words in the beginning and rather than the end, and you have a sword. Boy, aren't your words kind of sharp? If you want them to be, they cut like a knife.
Yeah, in the Bible, the sword could be translated as the tongue. You know,
Exactly.
So when they say the word "the tongue" in the Bible, it could be often referenced as the sword.
Think of all the words that we have that mean the same thing. You know, I mean, this language, the other people around the world come to listen to the English language and it confuses them. English as a second language is a motherfucker for people. Why? Because there's 90 words or meanings for one word. If you were explaining, Keith.
Yeah, well, think about this. The thing I told you about comment earlier, C-O-M means with in Latin. M-E-N-T means thought.
The mind, yeah,
mentality.
Yeah.
Right, in Latin. Now, what you do is you take those two words in Latin and you contract them. Just like the English language has isn't, it's a contraction. You contract them together. Okay? That's the problem. English is not actually English. It's a conversion of Latin words that now become terms and conditions of contract.
Exactly. Even the Bible is also the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Because when you read it in the correct way, and when you look the Bible, it says the Old Testament and the New Testament. All right, but in Latin, testi, testa, okay, testament, testi testa is another is derivative of anyway, it comes down to testi in Latin. All right, so which
testicles.
Means,
say it, brother.
It's not testicles. It means
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Body. It means the body. It means the body.
Right.
Right.
And the testicles are the only ones that
yeah, but that's not you can't directly associate those together, man. Come on.
Yes, I can. No, because the Bible.
No. I'm talking about cult member. You know, he's saying testament and testicles. I mean, no, you can't. You can't associate those two things together.
But listen, what I was trying to refer to,
you probably, you can.
Scott, listen, what I was trying to refer to is when you say the word testament, it means, like the New Testament, Old Testament means the new body and mind, and then the old body and mind and the new body and mind. So it's like the transference from the old body, the alchemical process, the old body and mind to the new body and mind. This is what, through my understanding of the words, what New Testament and Old Testament means.
Test. In Origins of Courts, they never took a woman to court. Right? Why?
Never.
Because it was the man that went to court. And they called the man's nuts his testicles in medical terms later on because he was the one that was put to test. He was the one that laid his nuts on the table against another man's nuts on the table and got them chopped off if one was wrong.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's your testimony. If you are willing to testify Test if I lie. Test if I.
Take my nutsack. Fuck me, that's horrible.
Yeah,
That's
man,
great.
I know. He's like,
That's great.
that's great.
Great to create a fucking actual society, not like the nonsense we have today.
Well, where are the places they cut your hands off for stealing? Does that still exist in the world, or is that like
It does.
It does. And that's a shame, because that's just one of the stupidest things. If you want that young man to grow up and be a societal member, and you deny him that right in his youth because he was wanting and needing, that should tell you something about your society. Because if you think you're going to have a society of strong men to go to war and protect you, and they end up being nothing but string beans because they've been struggling and fighting all their life, and they have no nutrition and no education, then that nation's going to fall quick.
Okay. Your thoughts, Scott?
This world is full of so much compartmentalized bullshit, and you go to different countries. Well, let's just say this. I mean, at this point, because nobody's following the rules, period. And I mean, in this country, you have the United States is Washington, D.C. It's nothing more except the roads, the military batteries, forts, arsenals, and all that bullshit. So the United States, if you say you're a United States citizen, you're basically saying that your origin and you live in Washington, D.C. Now, without going too far into all that bullshit, once you go out, there's contract after contract after contract. So there's this contract within this contract within this contract within this. So just when you get down to your local county or your ward or your different area, their contract between the next contract over is making them a nation unto themselves. Every fucking county has their own rules, regulations, and they follow their own edicts. So it has gotten to the point.
So what? So what?
So what?
Everybody in the castle walls decides to fucking be there.
Oh, Timmy, if we can't agree that 0-0, we're fucked. And that's the problem here, is that everybody agreeing.
Acquiesces to all this
That's
bullshit. Towns of 30,000 people, and there's 30 cops, and the other 29,970 people acquiesce to the nonsense day after fucking day, week after week, year after year. So if those people didn't want to be ruled like that, they would fucking change it, but they don't. And anybody that's there in these areas can go out. They're not being held there against their will, right? So what's the issue? I don't believe this world is fallen. I believe that man, on some level, has become fallen, and he just lives by fear, and nobody just does shit how they want and progresses out of Babylon, because the people are staying inside these counties, inside these localities, and then they acquiesce to the bullshit regulations every day, which makes them law. An old Roman maxim says, custom is as law, because if the beings that are there acquiesce and assent to it, then it becomes what they want. So China's insanity communism is law because the people every day let it happen, and they allow it, and they acquiesce.
What
The
happens
governor
when they
makes
buck
a
up?
mandate decree, they all follow it. It's law then,
Tiananmen
because by
Square.
the people, of the people. They made the law. The people make the law, not the governments. The governments are fiction. You know that, right?
As much as they're a fiction, they wield big guns, they have armies, and they fucking throw shit around whenever they want to.
They're outnumbered.
Check out, you tell me here. Did you have
100,000 to
something you
1.
wanted to chime in on this? See, that's the thing, though, too. You know, if people don't actually have something to say, did you have something to say? You tell me.
I might chime in, but if you want me off the panel, that's fine too. I got to jump start my vehicle.
I just, you know, I'm noticing it's like, so if I'm just cutting the flow here and screwing up the broadcast because I'm deferring to someone when they come on thinking they have something to say.
So men should speak when they're, you know, they want to speak, right?
Well, that's like the kind of the
flow of it or whatever. Because I do always feel that kind of odd feeling when someone comes in like, hey, why not defer to him real quick? Because, you know, we're all like fever in the heat of a conversation, but, you know, maybe they have something they want to just add real quick. Maybe that's silly, though. I'll think about that.
I got up here because this looks like a good conversation. I might have something to say, but continue on, fellas.
All right, so perfect. We got 50 people watching right now, so make sure to hit that like button and share this out to everybody. Click the sub, do the whole YouTube. You know the drill, kind of, what to do. There's also a link to support the channel if ever you want to help us stay live every single day of the week. 8 hours a day. It's long streams, but a lot of stuff happens, and it always is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for being here. This is the Grand Rising Show, number 17 on OTWNEWS. So that being said, your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have any ladies on the panel? We do not. So your thoughts, gentlemen.
Timmy, the whole system that you're describing, you say that we overrun them, we overpower them, and they know that. They're well aware of that. That's why they're trying to, end guns. They, every time there's a Nashville, every time there's, any of these shootings or anything, that's their problem reaction solution. I think it's David. What's the guy from over in England?
David this is old news, man.
Yeah, just problem reaction solution. He's the one that talks about that all the time. Ike, he's a former football player. He was a good football player years ago, which is how I first knew about the guy. But then he talks about that, and it's true that what happens is our government is very good at moving people's opinions, and they have a media at their hands. Okay, so if you want to wonder how come everybody moves in one direction and ends up acquiescing, as you will, it's because they're sure that everybody else is. Why? Because the news is telling them all the time that they are.
Again, if you watch the news, they never really even make claims. Like Wizard's point, they're fucking speaking babble. They write all capital letters, which is fucking dog Latin. And then
But the masses don't know that. There's only
one. Whose fault is that, though? The government or your papa, right? Or you, right? Like, and at the end of the day, it's, nature versus nurture. I believe that man, for lack of a better word, living soul, whatever you want, whatever flavor you got, man has the same power as the I am, and he's been gifted that power, that infinite power to do good. So I don't buy this constant undertones of, oh, man is such a worm, and there's all these systems and governments around, and it's so hard to make any change. Like, I don't buy that. And that's what I always fight everybody with, and people call me a whiner, complainer, because I see that man has infinite potential, and it seems like most people don't really believe that, because then they always want to point the finger at the quote-unquote government or the corporations when these are all dead entities. And again, like 20,000 people in a town, there's 20 cops. It's like, again, how are you pointing at the 20 cops or the 10 fucking local assemblymen? It's fucking laughable. And every day it's the same shit, right? And people go and complain and like, oh, the government is doing property taxes. Like, yo, how about motherfuckers learn to stand on their fucking square and say, you know what? Listen, guys, and everybody send a notice on the same fucking day. 20,000 notices to the local fucking assembly. Listen, what are these? What makes you think that I'm subject to your rule? Right? Go ahead and let me know, right? And then they can't answer. And then the people, if they could organize, then they would, right? But they can't, and they need a daddy called government. And that's what gets us in this whole situation, because people can't self-govern. Right?
There's a number of people out there that are incapable of self-governing, okay? If all you ever knew as a hammer was a rock, then when you saw a hammer, you wouldn't know what to do with it. There's some people that don't know how to self-govern because they've never fucking had any inclination of what that even what that means.
It's a self-acquired. It's a self-acquired skill. I mean,
right.
You come out of the womb that way.
So then we got a bunch of people who got together and started an educational system based on Rockefeller's idea that I'll just create workers, okay? I'll create dumbed up fucking factory workers that don't ever question anything. So now here we are 100 years later, basically, and we're sitting here discussing how can we get this knowledge back into people's heads. Now, a panel like this is going to help do that. But here's the real trick. He just said, OTW said there's 50 people watching. If you want the message to get out, the numbers game. This is the trick. If you tell two people and they tell two people and they tell two people and so on, the theory of doubling gets you to 1 million in 17 doubles. Okay? So if we played the numbers game and actually tried to take, I wouldn't want to share any of these panels that go haywire. And I'd like to see some of the better panels clip down into.
Why though? It's usually reality and what people want to actually hear discussed. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's the thing that, you know, is the controversial subject.
I want it clipped down to the content. I'd want it clipped down to the content that was usable, digestible, and less vitriolic.
You don't think people want to see the dynamics of the conversation though, how the social dynamics work out and where it goes to find resolve?
I'd want people to lead back to this so they could see the entirety of it all. That's how I would try and present this to the masses.
I feel like you want a soap opera canned TV version of what humanity.
I want Wizard's message and
what's
Paul's,
actually going on.
I want Wizard's message and Paul's message and a few other people's message to get out a little more clean, succinct, and dissected to the points of real, capable, actionable, intelligible, movable momentum.
Conventional, commercial, marketable.
No, fuck commercial. None of this is commercial. None of this is not what Wizard's talking there is fucking none of it's commercial. It's all actually going against that and going back to God's law and going back to standing on your own. If you listen, this guy's healing himself. I'm just saying, let's pair out the fucking whistles. Let's pair out the fucking dog whistles bullshit. And
you know what? You have to be that guy because you're cleaner around the edges then. And I'm cleaner around the edges. I don't do things Wizard does. I don't do things Paul does. So then I have to be that guy. I can't ask Paul to be something that I see in him that I want to see or that I want to see in him. I see a lot of things in him that I see in myself. I have to be the change I want to see in the world. I can't ask him to do it. I can't ask Wizard to do it, to be who I want him to be. I have to be it.
And that's a large part of the problem. And that's a large part of the problem because I've got almost 600 videos out there.
Right, they're there.
And people can use those videos, but they don't. And that's because they don't want to change.
Right.
Again, if they find out the reality of it and it forces a change, it destroys their life.
100%. 100%. Most of these people are living in such a lie. It's created a fucking house of cards, a glass reality that, you know, one little thing, you go like this and then the whole thing shatters, the whole thing collapses. So that's why most people, they fight for the lies, right? They'll fight to their death before they realize that they were living a lie their whole life.
That's very true, Timmy. I mean, they say that women will stay in an abusive relationship because of the fear of change, the unknown. That's so scary to some people that absolute fucking paralyzation happens, even though they're getting the shit kicked out of them on the weekly.
Yeah, so that's why I don't really agree with you that this is like sort of there's really a numbers game because I don't really think that many folks are needed, quote unquote, because I mean I don't look at this on a global scale. It's just like intelligent, wise people should just be getting around each other where they get along and like just let Babylon fall. Let Babylon do what it's going to do. Like, I have no, like, what other way is there, right? The deceived will stay deceived, majority of them.
Timmy, this is global, though. This is ubiquitous. What's happening in this country is happening in most every other country except the countries that are bucking up against the fiat currency. So it is ubiquitous. It is a universal message, and it is something that my honest opinion is, and I'm not saying to fucking homogenize the message at all. I'm saying that if you clip those pieces out and then we shared that, if you have 50 people and each person shares it at least to 2 people, asking them to share it to 2 people, then your message branches quicker. If you wanted that, nobody fucking's telling anybody what to do.
But dude, have you started getting into this stuff like a few years ago, man, or what? Like, I mean, beyond.
I'm in a totally different arena, dude. I'm in fucking. I was putting together a music museum. Okay, that's what I was trying to do, and I mean, just a completely different arena up until a few years ago due to some issues. But that now,
right. I say that because I've been a dude since 2006 saying, okay, this is all a scam. It started with 9/11. I was 16. I saw it all, did the research, talked to everybody. Anybody that's an OG like me that's been around knows that what you're saying respectfully doesn't work, because like if I share anything with anybody at this point, it's like it gets through to 1% of I've been playing the long game for 15 years and saying the same shit to my best friend. Only now some of them are coming around. Let
me correct the record. Okay, I've understood this was all fucked up since 1996, and I got into this whole bandwagon of the court systems are backwards and upside down. I did it the hard way. I had to learn by my grandparents getting murdered and going through a fucking trial and then another trial of double homicide. It was horrible, and I had to sit there. And at the end, I looked at the guy that did this, and I mouthed the words to him, "Pray for yourself." And he understood, because this was a CODA child of deaf adults who'd done it. Speaking, hearing child of deaf adults. So this guy could ring the doorbell at 5 years old and steal the car, and the parents would never know. He didn't have a normal childhood. So I learned about the court system and how they were kiting and churning those bonds of my grandparents to this fucking day, 26, 27 years later. This is a bullshit system. I've known that all along. I got into the music. I've traveled. I understand when you get your passport and you move from one fucking country to another, that's because they're taking you. Your money is vested in this. Okay? This is who you are. So you're being transferred. You're a parcel, if you will, almost, between these nations. It's crazy, but it's how it works. And then they're responsible for you. Now, going back to how this applies going forward, man, yes, there's a lot of fucking chaos that's going on, but most people don't see it. And the country, it's going to keep going forward because most people are a part of that. They're all working for their 9 to 5. If they find out something's wrong, then they feel like they're literally responsible for their children, their family, and everything. That looks great, Keith. I love that. I wish it was mine. Can you send that to me in the mail? I'll give you the address.
Coincidentally, it's called White Gorilla.
There you go. Oh, fucking nice. Looks like a nice fucking chunk there. That's a top too. Look at geez, Dick. Dick is the farmer. Dick is the farmer. Is that a white gorilla? Dick's got a white gorilla too.
No, it's some indica dominant hybrid.
The monogamy special.
There you go.
Years ago,
we don't know what the male was on it, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know if that tells the story. We know the female was Fruity Pebbles, and the male was some kind of sativa, likely, but it was a mistake, so we'll just grow it out.
Hetero haze, Dick.
The bangy haze, is that what you're talking about?
But on the real, it was cool to see Kazumi up here. I wanted to ask him a couple questions because I'm pretty sure he found Paul and OTW from my channel, which made me want to ask him how he found my channel. Yeah, but I don't know if I think he had something to do that he's tending to, and that's why he jumped off. But yeah, it's cool to see him come up on panel.
Yeah, really cool. I really appreciate Kizum coming here, and I hope he comes back. I didn't have time to say goodbye. I guess he was just jumped off really quick, but it was really awesome that he decided to come here. So, like I said, hope he comes back, guys.
The thing about restreaming, right, is that people who obviously are familiar with my channel but not yours will find you. And so in the future, when people restream my streams, the same is bound to happen. So I think this restream feature, shout out to StreamYard, honestly. Shout out to StreamYard. We appreciate you, StreamYard.
Yo, Hard Hat, why don't you ever come up and argue with somebody instead of just writing comments in the chat, man? You got something to say it on voice.
Let me say it for him. Good morning, Vietnam!
Oh, there's another one I'm going to get.
Vietnam.
That's another one I'm going to get. Sorry, Timmy.
When he's traveled to Southeast Asia and he's like, yeah, I had a great time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm here extremely temporarily. and Hardhat's gonna talk shit. I love it. I love it. What's your problem, Hardhat? Because I fucking said don't have a job and have a business, and you think I'm a dirty capitalist? I mean, let's have the discussion, man. Instead of just making shit comments for fucking weeks.
Let's get ready to rumble. That's your cue, OTW.
Oh yeah, true. Hold on a sec. Fuck. I'm God, I'm getting overwhelmed. The telephone is all. All right, I got this. Where's the Royal Rumble? I'm late. I know it. I'll get used to it, guys. I gotta get the other one.
Let's get ready to rumble.
At the Good Morning Vietnam, man. Wouldn't that be awesome to start off the show with that one? That would be great. Just like right before I come on. Good morning, Vietnam. I love Robin Williams, man. Isn't that a shame that he's dead? I mean, God, did I love that actor, man. Was he awesome or what? He was a phenomenal actor, in my opinion.
More Colin Orson.
I'll be honest, there has not been one day that has gone by that I have worried about that man's passing or even gave it one small iota of a consideration. But I'm just giving you my honest evaluation on it.
Same here, Dick. And the only movie that I really know of him is Flubber. That was a movie that I watched a lot as a child. So that's
Mrs. Doubtfire.
So many movies. Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. What about Peter Pan, guys? Come on. That was a classic.
Never watched it.
What about Good Will Hunting? He was great in Good Will Hunting.
Never seen it.
Oh, yeah. He took a really small salary for that movie. Did you know that, guys?
He gave Matt Damon and Ben Affleck a huge fucking break by doing that.
Yeah. And after that, these two fucking skyrocketed to Hollywood.
Well, since we're on the topic of dead celebrities, y'all heard about Jerry Springer?
Did he go?
No. What about Jerry?
No, I didn't. You're kidding me.
Yeah, I am not.
He's gone
Today, huh?
When?
Yeah, I've seen some stuff floating around.
Wow.
Has it been confirmed? Is it true or is it just some kind of other? Because sometimes it happens where they have like these things spreading around where these actors and shit like that, celebrities, they're dead, but they're not really dead. And then the celebrities have to come out and say, "Hey guys, I'm not dead." You know. What do you guys think?
It's true though. Today,
I was going to say that the drone technology only lasts, I guess, 20 years or whatever. Because at some point they switched him out, you know.
Yeah, confirmed an hour ago, but TMZ.
Jesus.
Wow.
Tom Arnold had one of the funniest lines I've ever heard. Just a comeback. I mean, TMZ was actually fucking interviewing him. They walked up to Tom Arnold, Roseanne's old husband, and they said, "We just found out that Jerry Springer is the #1 syndicated talk show across America. What does that mean to you?" And he goes, "More people lived in trailer parks than we originally assumed." Fuck. He put on a big show.
I was hanging back with John Mayer, and I was talking to him about how he should tune his guitar, and I was telling him about his how he could have a better sex life and stuff, and we get along really good, me and John Mayer.
That's a friend of mine's cousin.
Hang around, design guitars together, and hold hands sometimes.
Are you friends with John?
I'm gay though.
Are you friends with John for real, Dick?
I mean, he looks at me like a brother, but doesn't really know me. So,
oh fuck! I was gonna my best friends.
Honestly, I did have a few interactions with John Mayer in a previous work capacity.
Never met him.
He once wrote in a magazine that had his picture in it with the guitar and said, "Sell, sell, sell," noting that I was his sales slave because I was one of the best sellers of his signature model instrument that he had with Fender. In any case, interesting dude if we're name dropping.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm living vicariously through John Mayer when I play my guitar. And
John Mayer got me late in college.
He really had some songs there, yeah, that got the women excited. That's for sure. If you could get
Body is
close
a
to playing it on
Wonderland.
the acoustic, you were in. You know.
I told a chick that I was open. He was doing a show in town the next night, and I told a chick that I was in town just visiting, opening for him the next day. And so if you talk to John, tell him thanks.
I got him on speed dial here.
I don't know if she believed me or not, but she went along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was it true or not?
Fuck no.
Oh, well, there.
No, I don't play guitar. I taught myself 3 songs of guitar because I figured if you can't get laid after 3 songs, you're not going to get it at all.
You only need
Flow
to learn
State
3
wondering
chords.
why he can't find a trusted partner in this life to build something with as he starts out the foundation of every relationship on a lie. Can all learn from
Somehow
that.
I've managed to find him.
Doing all right, huh?
Do you show up at the bar saying I'm with the band?
I don't go to the bar at all anymore.
What's that? What's a bar?
That's the place. That's the place where you go and you pay way too much for beer and you don't even get to change the channel and there's a bunch of noisy fucking people around you don't care about.
It's because it's funny.
I heard
man.
the creature from the lagoon failed the bar multiple times.
There you go.
I heard that she did recently pass it, though.
Bars in Quebec don't
Well,
exist.
congrats to you, Miss De Laguna.
What is this show? I just found her through you guys. I haven't, but then I
She's the
checked
whore
out.
of Babylon, Dick.
What is this?
Jezebel
Lauren
harlot.
Order. Lauren Order. She's got a new show, Lauren Order, instead of Law and Order. What the fuck is that?
Yeah,
It's gotta be
that's
funny.
where she does these mock trials.
That
It's
sounds-
fucking comedy. I watched the one and she doesn't know the first thing what she's talking about. Again, people in those colleges for lawyers, they teach them a process. They don't teach them the law. They teach them a civil administrative process. That's
How
it.
old school is.
Just like sounds like medical school.
Come on, that was a very smart idea that she had. Lore and order.
Yeah, but
Come on.
it would be a smart idea if she had the
So-
smarts.
Yeah, but she's so smart. Come on, like
That's a clever
you know,
name.
play on words.
It's a
like,
cute play.
very, extremely clever woman. You know, I mean, she knows just
Oh,
where.
knock it the fuck
you know,
off.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
Maybe she should go and take
You
a
like
few
your
hours
dick
into
too much, brother.
No, I just
Oh,
came
God.
up because I saw Timmy here. I wanted to relate a story to him. You know, a few months ago, I was out.
What you talking about, Will?
And there was a giraffe there.
Yeah,
It's his
there's
audio
another one
function,
with
yeah.
his audio issue. Fuck. Lou,
Great job, Lou.
great job, Lou.
Internet's
Tremendous
fucking.
work.
Lou, stuff
Yeah,
the router up
using
your ass. You might get a better reception.
Yeah, using a phone on the internet instead of Wi-Fi.
His fuck.
Yeah, what kind of
Go
douchebag does that?
Go
Yeah,
hug the
yeah.
5G
Consistent.
tower, Lou.
You know, the fucking guy, he stole my giraffe, right? And he kept it for like
Now he's a
5
victim.
days.
Keeps going.
5 days he kept it, you know, but
Lou, we
the
can't hear you.
fucking
Shut up.
Here's the victim loop.
hold on.
See,
The
this
guy's
is
a
why
fucking
Lou
idiot.
comes here. I'll tell you.
Bro, we missed like the whole.
He hasn't.
Now that was the perfect
Shit
moment.
fucking
for
audio.
you
That
guys
was
to put together.
perfect,
Nice
yes.
work.
Fuck, I walked away too far from my internet service.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you
Okay,
did.
so what?
Canadian.
All right, let me go over it again. I got.
No,
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 please,
no.
no.
It came in clear. It was perfect, dude. It was like everybody heard
And
it.
then he
we all laughed.
freezes.
It was great, man.
and then my neighbor stole it from me, right? And he kept it for like 5 days. But you know
What you
how I
talking about,
found
Will?
out? See the fucking head popping out the top because it was too tall, right? So I fucking go over to my neighbors. I'm not gonna tell you what I did, right? I'm not gonna tell you what I did. to get my giraffe back.
Oh, there he went again.
Hey,
this is the
like
part where he
God,
tells us he's the superhero.
Stop fucking walking, man. What are you doing?
Just act like you heard him, so he doesn't tell it again.
Stay still.
Yeah, exactly, Timmy.
Wow, it's really
Right on point,
interesting.
dude.
Lou
That was
Bass,
great, Lou.
Get
Wow.
the
Hilarious.
sun out of my eye.
Wow.
Get the sun out of
Stunning,
my
actually.
eye.
Riveting.
Did you get it back? Did you get the giraffe back?
Well, I'm not going to tell you how I got it back, but yes, I did get it back, right? I just
Yeah,
want you guys
please
to,
leave us
I
in
just want
suspense.
Who
you
asked
guys,
that question? Who asked that question?
I want you guys to believe. I want you guys to believe
Fucking
in your
Rob
mind and
was
create
following
stories.
him, man. Holy
Create
shit.
stories in your mind that I went with my chopsticks and I fucking tackled. But I don't want to say that, right? I just
Old
want
Lou
you
and
to
his
think.
chopsticks.
I want you to think
Chopsticks.
I went with chopsticks, right? You know.
We can
So
only
I just
imagine
thought-
what you did with him.
I thought I wanted to share that.
He'd
story
love you a
because
long time.
I wanted you guys to know how much of a wonderful man I am, that wherever I go, giraffes appear to me because they know how good of a man I am.
Okay, now there's only Christos missing on the stream with his giraffe in the background, and we're all set, guys.
I yield.
Thank
Lou
God.
always
Great
bringing
story,
the
man.
consistently solid and reliable good content. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah, thank you, Lou. You're awesome, man. Thank you for your
That's
your
all we'll need from you,
contribution.
sir.
Have
That
a
was
great
You're
day.
yielding like your
That's
video
enough
stream.
for
No,
now.
I was just relating.
Anybody
I
else?
was just
Oh,
relating.
I got
to
somebody's. Okay, I thought somebody was trying
I
to
just
get
wanted to relate to Timmy because I feel a kinship with him, right? He has little kittens that just appear to him. It's not like they were lost or anything, and you know they happen to find some place where they can get a bite to eat. They just appear to him because he's such a wonderful man, like me. But I'm a little bit better because for me it's giraffes, right? Just
Lou, I'm
wanted
going to
to
ask
get that kinship.
ChatGPT to make a picture of you riding a giraffe.
Amen, brother.
Hey, Lou.
Well, that's why I love Christos. too,
Maybe we
because
should
he-
have it the other way around. Maybe we should have the giraffe riding you, man.
Yeah, because Lou would break the giraffe's neck and instantly kill it.
I know I'd be a little
Right.
too heavy. I'd be
What
a
was
little
I
too
thinking?
heavy. Okay,
Hey,
but
Lou.
you know what? I could let
Are you-
Christos ride my giraffe.
Lou, you know what the number one ailment for giraffes
That's
is?
up to you.
What?
You know what their number one illness is? Sore throat.
Oh, really? Actually, the number one ailment for male giraffes is being beaten to death by other higher-ranking male giraffes. That's the number one death of
The
male.
neck whips are fucking vicious. When they whip each other with their necks, it's fucking brutal.
The older males usually stomp to death the younger males with their heads, swinging them on their neck like it's a fucking, you know, like people used to put a fucking bike lock in a sock, and they beat them to death.
It's brutal.
I don't know if you guys remember
Lou,
like 2
please.
years back. Sorry, am I going too far from my internet?
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to go back and sit down and pose again.
Go
Sorry.
hug the 5G tower.
Yeah, Lou,
Okay.
let's do a test. Let's do a test on your internet
see how
range here
far-
right now.
how
It's a good
far I
time to
can
do it.
go.
OTW doesn't mind.
Yeah, fuck everybody.
None of us
here, right?
are
Let's-
trying
so
to
you wanna
communicate
see-
here.
You want to see how far I can go till?
Yeah, we'll
I don't have
circumvent
any
everything
sound.
we were doing to
And so-
focus on you and make you the center of attention and
Right,
figure out your
right.
signal for you.
That
Plug
was
all
the
you to
plan.
zero.
Because everybody's going to love that content.
Anyways, I just felt the need to come up and relate to Timmy because Timmy's such an amazing man that he, you know, animals appeared to him, and I wanted to know that he has kinship. That's all.
I would just
I
love
yield
to
them.
hear a fucking story from Lou that doesn't involve killing animals or like animals killing each other, or
Bro, I never
or
killed
your
my
dick.
giraffe. I love my
Killing
giraffe.
animals and dicks is all I've heard from you from fucking the past week, man.
Hey, I love my giraffe. I love my giraffe, and I love my dick.
Killing and dicks. It's like
I like
gorilla.
killing-
Basically, I have no reason to
Killing
consult
dicks?
you for anything ever in this existence.
Other than killing dick.
Killing dick. There you go. Two birds with one proverbial stone.
So, Timmy, thank you. I was really appreciated your story. I felt alone prior
Fucking
to that.
comedians.
I thought I was the only one that had animals appear to me.
I got nowhere else to go.
No, bad timing, OTW. You're overusing it now.
Don't
That's
listen to him. He's doing fantastic. Use this more.
You're just kissing ass, Scott. I see how you work.
Hey Lou, look at my avatar, dummy.
Oh, I saw you changed it. Yeah, that's good. That's better. But why don't you got to put Paul in there? He could be the gorilla.
It
You don't need
doesn't
a
fit.
monkey in. Take the monkey out. It's perfect.
No,
'cause
the
he
monkey
is a
has
white
to be there.
gorilla. Why? Why?
Because there's no other way around it.
Oh, okay. You can't crop him out and put Paul in?
No. No, I don't make these images.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Somebody else made it for you. Cool.
No, this was a thumbnail from the Driving Miss Davy stream.
Ah, right. Yeah, and as for poor Scott, I mean, Scott, I know you're really fucking... I know that you've been traumatized a little bit, that you had somebody finally talk to you truthfully, and it scared you, and you haven't felt right ever since. But don't you think that in this world, that might be necessary, Scott? In this world, people don't fucking hear a damn thing. And believe me, brother, I struggle between fucking wanting to grab Paul by the fucking head and smash him against the brick wall sometimes. But the other side is it's fucking needed. And the Spirit sent him.
Well, sometimes, Lou, sometimes when you have a messenger, but his message is good, but it comes with no actual substance behind it that proves it and no actions that follow it, then you start going, okay, is this his message or is it something he's stolen from someone else? Is he just parroting someone else?
Yeah, man. He might have stole it. Who do you think he stole it from? Maybe like the sacred text, the good book. It's been the same message that's been told in times past by so many different, influential, spiritual type of people that, and he's acknowledged that. It's not a new message.
There you go. There you go. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He's ingrained this into his heart. But now, if you want to shove it down people's throats, there's okay, you'll get some people that'll respond to that. If you want to approach people with your intelligence and your intellect and win friends and influence people, as Dale Carnegie would say, you'd have a much different approach. But now, if you're trying to just gain followers, you'll go ahead and go to Jack Talcott and make him look like a lunatic. I mean, it just depends what your desire is. And
He is a lunatic. What are you saying?
Well, we're all lunatics in some sense of the word. If you want to be honest, do you really know who you are, what you're doing on this rock spinning around the sun, fucking hurling through space?
Hey, Scott, do you realize that this is probably why you've been put in front of Paul at this point? Do you really ever stop and listen to the words you're saying in your mind before you say them? Because no, really, no, seriously, do you ever do that?
You got a big heart on for Paul, and you really want to be with Daddy, and you want his comfort and his love.
No, I love
him to
Paul's
stick his
message.
arm around you and
Great.
tell you it's okay, but then give you that hard, tough love you need.
Yeah, but I got to get with Daddy, I think. I think eventually I'll probably come over to the fold of the cult of Daddy.
Exactly.
But,
I encourage you to do that. You should.
It's going to take a while. And I mean, I just don't do well on all fours. I just don't do well bending over and fucking putting my ass high in there.
See what I mean?
The colonoscopy.
See what I mean?
What?
Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, no, I'm not gonna sit here and think that somebody needs to go in.
But he might want that, so maybe he wants to go over and have Daddy mount him.
Well, no,
ride him around a little bit.
Yeah, hey,
like a pony or something.
It's happened, maybe or not. You never know. Would I be game for it? You never know. Probably not. But hey, listen, this world's full of a lot of misfits, me being one. And the truth is, I don't think anything's wrong with Paul or his message, but I do think if he wants it to go further, then I think maybe if I were him, and I'm not, so I can't make that determination for him, I might change my approach. That's all I've expressed. If anybody wants to listen to that, they can hear it. If they don't want to listen to it, they can go on with all the fucking bullshit and chaos they want. That's fine. If Paul keeps calling people out as an agent of chaos and not looking in the mirror as himself, he's the agent of chaos in some situations, if not most. When he goes outside of the realm, he's fucking just an agent of chaos. When he goes to Jack, is he trying to help Jack or hurt him?
You're saying it ad nauseum at
Why?
this point.
Why?
So you want to
Well, I
make
just
that
got
the
called
focus of
into
the
it.
entire conversation. You don't want to just say it and allow your opinion to be heard. You want to drive it home to where you get some kind of action out of it. So what are you trying to accomplish with what you're saying?
I don't care about anything at this point. Lou just called it out. I mean, I wasn't going to talk about Paul. I'm not fucking caring about that at all. If I get addressed, I'll respond. It's not something that's front fucking cortex in my mind.
Can I ask you a question, though? Why is it Paul's responsibility to have his message go further?
He doesn't want it to. It's not his responsibility. He doesn't need it to.
How do you know what he wants?
He said that.
Say things.
He said it. He said it.
Hold on. I've never.
No, you said something. He said it. Don't ask me. Go ask him.
I've never heard him say that he doesn't want his message to reach more people. I've heard him say other things that some people might misinterpret as that idea.
Well, Lou, have you listened to everything he's done?
What, Paul?
He streams like 12 hours a day.
I've pretty well been on Paul's stream every day for the last fucking, I don't know how many months. It's not
You
on
do
it,
something with yourself.
listening to it at least. Sorry?
You need a job or something.
A job? Okay, I'll do that. Thanks. Well, currently I'm looking into breeding giraffes. I think there's a market for it.
I think there is a market for it, especially after hearing what they do with their heads. Like, I'm in the market now.
Yeah.
Totally opposite of midget wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, if you was near me with his construction background, I'd hire him in a minute. He's got skills.
With this big bull, get a big bull giraffe, and we just carry him down, walk him down to the street. He walks fast because they got long legs. Walk him down to the city, and we just get him to fucking smash all the fucking slaves with his head. Like
maybe we can breed him with like a deer, so it's a manageable size giraffe.
No, bro, go big or go home. Fuck that.
Okay, good point.
Rob, I share your sentiments.
Timmy can do the kitten side of it. All the kittens that appear to him that are starving and lost.
Sorry.
All right, guys.
Yeah, Scott.
Great show, guys.
Great stuff.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, Scott. I mean, I think the bottom line, in my opinion, is.
Tell me the bottom line, Lou. Let's go.
In my opinion.
Make like the Mayflower, come across. Let's hear the bottom
Make it succinct,
line.
Lou. Please make it succinct, Lou.
In my opinion, I personally believe that the spirit captures some people when like the spirit uses people, right? Obviously. And the spirit will capture who it needs to capture when it needs to capture them and use it for their particular skills or abilities or whatever. And I believe that Paul at this point is a captured person by the spirit. Person is the wrong word, obviously. You know.
You're literally in the cult.
I am in the cult. Yes, damn right, I'm in the cult. Yes, I damn well.
I just thought everybody was playing kind of a game, but
even though I want.
What does the word cult mean to you?
I want to murder the leader sometimes. I'm still in the damn cult.
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
It is a closed religious organization.
No.
Are you a part of the United States or Canada?
I see where you're going. I'm not playing the game.
Do you have a job? Do you work for that mechanic shop, or is this a one-man thing?
This is my driveway.
Okay. Do you have a job where you work with others?
I'm not I don't have W-2 income, if that's what you're asking.
Do you do work with good? See, I'm testing you. Do you have work that is with others?
Do I do things in exchange for money? Is that what you're asking?
I'm just saying, do you do anything with other folks, with other people?
Yes.
Okay. So in those groups where you have a common idea, is it or is it not a group?
It's not a cult.
Is there not a hierarchy of the most senior being that maybe it's like has the most skill in that thing?
I see that you're trying to dissolve the understanding of cult as used in common parlance, and I'm just not going to play the game.
So
Working is not a cult.
You're not going to spray any PB blaster before you try to crack that caliper bolt there?
Oh, I'm tightening them.
Oh, okay. Good stuff.
So what differentiates the occult from any organization? I'm just curious what you think it's supposed to say.
I would say religious isn't the right word, but it's the one I'm going to use because I don't have a better one. Sort of religious belief systems. If I frame a house with somebody or pour a concrete slab, that doesn't say anything about what we believe on a deeper level.
Right, so you're just choosing to leave it out at that point then, right?
It doesn't have anything to do to the objective. We're not there for that reason. We're there to build a fucking house. So it doesn't matter if he believes in Buddha or Krishna or Jesus or, the great spaghetti monster. None of that matters. Because that's not what brought us together. The association is task-oriented.
Right, but what if he's an extremist Muslim, one of the folks that's like the caliphate type, and that sees you as an infidel and wants you to die? What about that?
Well, then we're not going to be working together very long, are we?
There you go. That's the point. So it does matter, right?
Right. Okay. I guess it matters to the extent that if he's trying to kill me, it matters.
Won't be too constructive.
Well, wait. There's a difference. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but there's a difference between wanting to kill you and actually doing the act, right? So he could be in your presence, believing something completely different that you're not even aware that guy wants your species to be extinct, but he can stand there.
As long as he keeps it in his head, that's his business.
And his knife in his pocket, of course.
Right, but the minute he tries to act on it, then the nature of the relationship has changed.
You take out the hammer, and we have a fucking showdown. But
my only point is that go ahead.
Let's think about where you go with this in a different direction, and you start talking about somebody saying, "Why am I talking about poly or anything?" I have things to add. Value added would be contributions that I might think other people would consider. Now, over here, Flow State's working. He's working right in front of you, and people are going, "Well, I just sit here, do this, do that." I got plenty of shit to do myself. Move forward is the game. And if we're talking about anybody, they want a property first. That's what you need before you can build the house. Before you build the house and lay the foundation and all that, then you build footers and you go up from there. I've built houses from the ground up. I've rebuilt them from the top down. And what I'm trying to say is any one of you on this panel could get a piece of property as soon as the next month or two, even without money, if you knew what you were doing. And everybody goes, "Oh, don't contract, don't contract, don't contract." But earlier we were talking about persons. As soon as you make a contract, it becomes its own person. You just need to know what to do with it. If you go to Wizard here in the middle, cult member number 1, he'll tell you a little bit about it. If you go to Paulie understands trust. I've heard him talk about it. I've listened to some of his stuff. And that's the value-added content that I'm talking about. If y'all want to talk about fucking bullshit, and you want to talk about whether or not fucking Loctite's going to move that fucking wrench and that fucking bolt off of there, or you want to talk about if some infidel is going to come and fucking cut his throat instead of build a house, then we're never going to make this a better world. It's a shit world to begin with because shitty thoughts are being fucking thrown around. And that's the bottom line.
Loctite is an important
that was a
topic,
low
though.
blow on the PB blaster there, Scott. You really came at me with that. But hey, you have Talcottianism in your blood, and that's cool, and it's fun to see play out. But the last part of what you said, I completely agree with. Like, people don't realize if they apply themselves what they can accomplish. So, you know, here to that, and we do have common ground with that respect.
In every instance where you're dealing with any kind of public contract, whether it will be with a government entity or another corporation of any sort, it's a public contract, and that proves that it's operating in a trust. So you must determine whether you're in the contract, and if you're not, then what is your position in the trust? Contracts are done between trustees.
Isn't that kind of lead, follow, or get the fuck out of the way mentality?
Yeah, the grantor,
that's where you're at in that position.
The grantor develops the trust and assigns a trustee for the contracts. So the grantor is not involved in the contract, but yet he is an obligated party to the contract. So when you're the benefactor that places the facts in that record for the beneficiary of that record, you're in the same position as the grantor. The trustees contract with other trustees. If you're involved in a contract in person, then you're operating as a person in that contract. He's a respecter of no persons. The simple form of a trust is a gift to a beneficiary. It needs no trustee. So again, when you get involved in the contracts, you become a trustee. That is not required, and that's your choice.
You see, everybody, we always get great information like this. It's just one of the reasons why I love doing these shows.
He could have just made all that shit up, and I wouldn't know enough to call him out on it.
Right. A trust does not fail for want of trustee. A contract does. If there's no trustee, a contract can't be evident. If there's an evidence of a contract, then all parties must be identified. And if there's no trustee, then my goodness, the contract is a little too public. You have to express the trustee in order to hide.
Void ab initio, would it be?
Yeah, well, that's what I use in all cases, and that ab initio goes to the scriptures again. Every word of God is pure. Provo wanted to talk about clean earlier. It means to purify, and every word is pure. Or excuse me, every word of God is pure. It is a shield unto he who puts their trust in God. God being the source of life. So if you put your trust in the source of life, now you're talking about something different. See, every trust they write down on paper, those are comments. That proves that trust is fiction, fabrication, invention. It really is that simple, people.
Are you saying simply that the trust is really between the two or more men by their faith and good faith, and then the paper is simply like a representation of the dead past, or like the evidence?
Yes, and it's also supportive why we don't shake another man's hand and we don't trust another man.
Why don't we shake hands? I missed it.
You're not supposed to shake hands with another man because that's a personage. That's the contract of person. This is why I find it hard when I walk up to a fellow man and I want to give him a hug.
That's just because you're gay.
Yeah, I'm gay.
I'm kidding.
I know.
The first trust was unum sanctum, and you were talking about that yesterday a little bit, and that's Pope Boniface VI in 1302 when he decided with, was it King James? Who was the King of England at the time? They decided between them that they were going to put everything in trust because the Pope says, I'm Jesus's heir to the throne. I'm here to protect all his shit till Jesus returns. So therefore, everything belongs to me.
Right. And he made a claim not only to everything, but every man, woman, and child, all living souls. Now, again, Isaiah 43:1 says, fear not, for I am the Lord. Or excuse me, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. That's the trust. It takes nothing else. So what is the Pope doing? That's blasphemy at the highest level.
Isn't this kind of goes along with the point with the whole cult concept, is that it's any agreement. Let's say, Wizard, me and you make an agreement, right? It's really, the agreement is really between I and our shared vision of the Creator, however you want to call it, and your your agreement with the Creator, right? And then it's not really between me and you. It's between I and God and you and God, and then it's like, right? So isn't that the same thing with the quote unquote cult? It's like, that's why I kind of reject what Flow State was saying about him and the other man working on the house. It's like, well, if that man in his heart is like, well, fuck this guy, like, and he's, having ill intent or bad faith at some point in that community down the line, like, that's not going to work out long term, right? You might be able to like put a few bricks together, but long term, if he has the intent in his heart and you guys don't have the same ethics, morals, and virtues, that probably won't work out long term.
You never really had a job, have you?
Yeah, I don't do jobs anymore. I don't do jobs anymore, but I'm talking about long term, man. Like long term communities
again
and societies.
In the example, though, in the example, you can work with somebody to achieve the common goal without needing to bond on that sort of level.
Or just bring it up.
Look at. Hold on, Scott. Look at China right now. Every day, another building collapses because they build the fucking buildings with tofu. What do you think? All those folks like. What do you think?
Do you think that the reason for that
spiritual practice?
Do you think the reason for that is that the workers didn't like each other?
I told you tofu was no good for you.
Look, man, I'm saying they don't like themselves. They don't like each other. They don't have any spiritual practice. They don't give a fuck about the people that are gonna die in the future. And everybody's culpable. The guys that are literally laying that bullshit foundation, the bullshit bricks that go up that you can literally crush with your hand. Like, everybody's culpable, right? And that's my point.
It's not that deep of a situation. What happens is you have over incentive for rapid expansion and under incentive for quality control.
So it's the government's fault? It's not every man involved?
The government and the companies, correct.
It's the men involved. It's every man involved in this, in the whole.
Everything goes by a.
I mean, do you think the poor schlub?
Everything goes by supply and demand, and if you don't demand it, they won't supply it. If they supply it, then it's not enough, and you demand more. That's the problem: the greed and gluttony of the material things that everybody else wants to provide that you want, but you don't.
But the guy shoveling shit for a bowl of rice a day on the job site. He's not culpable.
Bro, do you remember Nuremberg? What are you talking about?
No, I hold on.
Shouldn't he be shoveling shit for his own cows? Or wait a minute. Shouldn't we not be shoveling shit by herding the cows like we're told in the scripture and not fencing them in and destroying the land because the hooves are meant to tender the soil?
Okay, but that's a different thing. Of the earth. Wizard, what he said.
We've become too industrialized for this to work.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks. Just go ahead. What Flow State was saying, though, he may be correct in that, because the guy shoveling, concrete at the bottom of the totem pole may not understand how a building is built.
That's the point.
Look, but hold on, I agree with you at the same time, Timmy, that the people building the buildings in the end are the true culpable ones, because they know what the building is supposed to be like, but they're cutting corners, they're saving money, so they're showing their dishonor.
Listen, cavemans, before they went running into caves for shelter and shit, they had to check it out first. This is the same thing in modern times. If you don't check out the building first to make sure that it's up to your code and it's safe, then you're the one. You are.
But Wizard,
in everything you do, you are culpable because you were supposed to observe.
You're culpable for what is under your control. If you can't have any control over something,
your choice to go work for them is under your control.
But my point, Flo, is constantly that if you contract with some organization and just go like this and go, I hope these guys are trustworthy, then you fucked up.
That's my
Okay,
point.
so
It's like
let me
when I
ask
hear
you this.
the military slaves, when the military slaves go, I was 18, I didn't know that the American government were terrorists all over the world. I didn't know I was going to go out to kill
Okay,
people.
hey,
I'm like,
so Timmy,
you didn't do no
what about
history research
Caterpillar?
before that.
If somebody works at Caterpillar, are they responsible for every accident on a job site that happens on their equipment?
That's really broad. What do you mean? Like the guys that are
Caterpillar,
who?
the equipment company,
Right.
is some
Who in what situation?
Timmy in accounting. Let's say the dude in accounting, is he responsible for something that happens with Caterpillar equipment?
Listen, you're both right. Okay,
On
Timmy's
some level,
advocating.
yeah.
Timmy's
On some level,
advocating
yes.
Well,
for
then if you're
radical.
willing to get that convoluted with things, everybody's responsible for everything, and there's no point in even trying to divide it out.
We are.
This
On
is the
some
point I
level.
made. This is the point I made several times now. In my search for freedom, once I found that so-called freedom, what I truly found was more responsibility. This is why I get pissed, because you people want to sit there and say you're responsible, and you're not. You're culpable. You're culpable to the same shit. On every level, there's a responsibility that relates to culpability.
But look, there's also value in recognizing and limiting the sphere of your responsibility. If I'm responsible for everything, then I can't be responsible for fucking anything, because it's more than I have the capacity to handle. So
therefore,
Timmy,
we're responsible for our own protection. So again,
I'm not sure if I agree with Wizard or not, but I know that I disagree with Timmy.
well, we're supposed to go forth with a mindset of protection. As these intellectual beings, we know inherently, we know the dangers that exist. What happens is when we get involved in this societal thing that has all these technologies, then all of a sudden we're no longer aware of the technical difficulties that Flow State's talking about when it comes to that liability. Is Caterpillar liable? Yes. Why? Because they're holding the records. The reason the guy that walks in and shovels the shit isn't liable is because he's not reliable. Okay, that's why he's being paid per diem, per hour. Okay, otherwise, if he's held liable, the record stands, and if he ain't got a record, then he has no standing. So if you're not going to use the scripture as your record for the superior standing, then you're going to fall. Case means to fall. So every time you end up in an administrative court and they present that case, they're saying you fell. Really? It looks like you're asking me to stand, and I stood, right? See, I use their language.
Everything you said just went straight past me. Like, I don't understand what the fuck.
Because people are sitting there babbling. Okay? If you get back to the origins of the words and terms and conditions that you're using, you'll realize you're not using God's words.
I believe that.
Actions speak louder than words. So simply by the guy going into that building and shoveling shit for somebody else shows that his words are no good, because his actions show he's willing to shake the hand of another man and contract in person.
Okay, thanks.
Hey Flo, maybe you're because I believe personally what Timmy's saying is absolutely correct, that each man has culpability and responsibility to do what's true and what's right. Now, he may be espousing it more radically, and that might be putting you off because you're seeing it as some poor starving fuck in China needs a job, and he don't give a fuck where he gets it, because he's got to feed 4 kids at home, so he's going to get it somehow, some way before they die of starvation. I could see that. I get that. And also the fact that when Timmy talks, he has this, I don't know, this air of self-righteousness.
No, it's what he's saying is absurd on its face. Only in abstraction does it work at all.
When does culpability end and begin then, in your mind?
Things that you have direct control and responsibility for. So, like, if under your model, nobody would be allowed to work at an airline unless they can build an airplane.
No.
Why not?
I'm taking it too far.
I mean, if the dude shoveling shit on a job site is responsible for the integrity of the building, then surely a stewardess is responsible for the integrity of the airplane and the pre-flight checks.
To some degree, she is, right?
No,
Before
she's
she
fucking
takes.
not. She's
No, but hold
responsible for
on.
putting
Hold,
pop in a cup.
hold on.
Okay. So
Just
when
with that,
if wait, Lou, if the plane goes down because she decided to work for some dumbass company and the plane goes down and crashes, is she not culpable for her death?
All
Because
right,
she
all
went and
right.
worked for a shitty
to
company?
some degree, she is. If I can just get
To
what
some
I was
degree.
thinking, to some degree, she is culpable because
You can't just say it's zero culpability.
even though she may not have direct power over how the plane is built and all of that shit,
Right, of course.
but she does have the ability to seek out
She
information
has a
about
brain. She has mental
this
acuity
particular
and
this
intelligence.
particular company and see how many planes have fallen and make a concerted judgment on whether they're safe or not, and then make a decision. Do I want to move forward and take a job with this company that
So
has
do you
this
think that the people
horrible
who
record?
worked in the Twin Towers were culpable for their death because they didn't what? How would you underwrite that job?
I think that's a little different. That's sort of.
Well, are we going by the
Guys,
official
are you
fiction?
understanding what's going on in this world? Are you? This is a corporate construct where
And every
BlackRock
last one of them contracted and shook a hand in verse by signing in signature cursive.
I don't know if I even understand the conversation anymore. Are we talking about like ethical responsibility or a legal one?
Yes, ethical.
Oh,
okay.
Ethical, moral. Because again, nobody understands the moral simplicity of shaking another man's hand and making a contract in person. That displaces their own responsibility. It's a convenience to say, okay, well, you're responsible for this and I'll be responsible for this. When in the end, we're talking about Caterpillar's the one that's really liable, right? Think about it.
Can I speak for a minute, guys? I got to get out of the fucking way and go take care of some stuff for Mom. But I want to tell you, this whole world is run by money. It's a corporatocracy, if you will. And the corporations are literally being bought up by biggest corporations. So the money stake in government and putting freaking forward the will of the profit. I mean, it's profit and loss. Means that what you were talking about with buildings, the buildings are going to cut corners. They're going to be cheaper. In fact, with the Twin Towers, there's arguments to be had that they were going to need to be demolished because of asbestos and a bunch of bullshit in them to begin with. Forget about the Twin Towers. Let's look about what's going on forward. Is we've lost our ability to control ourselves because everything's been contracted away from we the people. And all of our contracts have been contracted away because we keep contracting with acquiescing, like you like to say, Timmy, with these hidden contracts. Okay, we acquiesce to these hidden contracts and they're holding us liable. But the way out of this hidden contract is to understand that disclosure is one of the key fundamentals of a contract. The other is consideration. Is there consideration? But there also has to be another consideration besides disclosure and consideration. There has to be a party. And most of these contracts that people are thinking are contracts, they're literally unilateral contracts. Find the other signature on it. It doesn't exist because nobody wants to take the fucking responsibility for what they're doing to you. It's you doing it to you. Always you doing it to you. And when Flow State, he says you need to go get a job, that's fucking right. You need to take responsibility because responsibility means you are an able body. You have ability. And that means you're fulfilling the scripture. That means you're showing your talents. That means you're doing fucking something rather than blowing your blowhole hot air throughout the universe to leave nothing behind but that hot air.
Okay, breathe now.
Go work, do something. I've got shit to do. And that's my point is, yes, there is a fucking world out there full of misfits and miscreants. And you have a lot of people that don't think that they need to be honorable and get something done. But this world wasn't built by people doing nothing. It was built by people fucking busting their asses, busting their knuckles, losing fucking digits, breaking their arms. And then they had faith at the end of the day that Things were done for the right purpose. Now, we have a lot of people that have been led by that faith, the masses, in fact. And if there's 20 people that want to get together and change that overnight, I don't think you're going to do it by telling them they're all wrong, because they're not going to fucking believe you. Not a chance. But showing them they're wrong, that's a different story. How do you show them they're wrong? Well, a little bit at a time, doing the right thing, coming together, not pushing apart. That's exactly the divisiveness that this whole corporation has been put to pull you apart. They're building cheaper homes so they can make more money, so they can steal what belongs to you in the first place. All right? They're not trying to take care of you, and that's the fundamental responsibility of government, if they exist at all.
No, it's not. Government's not responsible for taking care of you. Fuck that.
They're supposed to take care of the disputes between fucking...
Government's supposed to be there just as an administrative tool for busy to do the...
Read the Constitution. Read the Constitution.
Fuck the Constitution.
Whatever.
Fuck the Constitution.
Fuck the
Go back to the Articles of Confederation, the original fucking
Fuck the
document.
Articles of Confederation. A government is only one fucking purpose, is to secure rights, and the first of those being property. That's it. So
We're
men
not
get together
following,
and create
we're not
a fucking
following those
structure
documents,
that
Timmy.
handles that.
The reason we're not
Those
fucking
documents
securing
don't
those
fucking
rights
mean
is
anything,
nobody's
Scott.
following those documents.
Those documents don't mean anything, Scott. What makes you think that those things matter?
Because it's the supremacy law creates that fucking that reality that you don't want to admit to.
Scott, okay, Scott, how do you claim that the Constitution, I'm subject to it? Please explain how that works.
You were born in the U.S.
I was not born in the U.S.
You were born.
Okay, do they consider you a citizen?
I don't give a fuck what they consider.
Well, they're the ones who make the decision whether or not you have to follow the laws. Like it or not, that's the way it is.
No, see, you're mistaken. I'm a non-citizen national. They don't have jurisdiction over me. Neither does the Constitution.
Have you put everybody on notice? Have you put
the government
again? So how is the Constitution applicable to me? Somebody explain that.
So this is you're having the same. I had the same issue with this argument that you had with the last one, which is that what you're saying is only correct in theory.
No, you live in fear.
No,
I live in faith.
It's not in theory, because I've thrown off the government and I don't apply them laws to me at all. I guarantee that.
Okay, so go smoke some crack in front of a cop.
Yeah, I would. I'll write the motherfucker up. Yes.
Now, once you step away from the state, okay, and it's not the state you're stepping away from, it's the state of states, because Florida state, the de jure state, exists beneath the overlay that is basically your postal fucking overlay.
Don't go on for an hour though.
You don't want to learn anything.
And here's one basic simple thing,
I do, but
guys.
you go on too fucking long about it.
And here's one basic simple thing, guys. I can't prove anything in my life to you guys. You have to be here when those cops try to attack someone, and I interject myself to defend them or to fend for them. And the cop sits there and says, go back in your apartment and mind your own business. Really? Are you trying to tamper with the witness?
Tamper with the witness?
Father! Yeah, they think I'm a lunatic and they leave me the fuck alone.
I bet they do. I would too.
Can I ask Flow State a question?
They run.
Hey, Flow State.
Yes.
Can I ask Flow State a question? Sorry, Wizard, if I cut you off. I apologize. Do you think it should be my right to smoke crack in front of a cop?
For sure.
Okay, I just wanted to know that. That's all.
As long as you don't hurt anybody.
That's cool.
So Scott, I'm still waiting. How is the Constitution applicable to me, man?
Well, I mean, listen, your parents signed a contract and put your birth certificate into that. Well, if they didn't,
so the birth certificate.
If they didn't, I'm just telling you how this land, the law of the land, that is supposed to be the law, but it's legalese and mumbo jumbo. But people acquiesce to it, and because they acquiesce to it, you have a bunch of fucking stormtroopers running around with fucking guns, acting like you are the infidel, right. You are the misfit, you are the miscreant, and you are the one that should be caged like a fucking gorilla. So they will do that to you. And I suggest you not test them. I suggest you not test them. If you don't know what you're doing, you're on a failed mission.
Stop giving me advice. I don't want your advice, Scott.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to give you advice other than that. That's
if you do encounter them, like he's saying, be sure to film it, because I would love to see how well you defend yourself with that snotty fucking attitude against the SWAT team.
I got a snotty attitude because I'm asking him to actually give his proof and evidence of why the Constitution applies to us. Why does the state constitution apply to us? Why does the local laws, quote unquote laws, codes, and regulations apply to us? I got a snotty attitude, right? Yeah, because there's fucking genocide and slavery everywhere, flow state. And I don't think it should be like that. And I don't think man is a fucking worm. So I don't go, oh, we're so weak. Man is a fucking powerful being, and everybody just wants to point at all the things outside.
Why does it apply to you, Timmy? Why does it apply to you? Because you don't understand your rights, and if you don't know your rights, you have no rights.
Dude, were you not listening to what the fuck you just said?
You, Scott, you don't even understand the fucking concepts that the rights are from God, right? And if you can't express your rights, you have none. We are the fucking law, Scott. The jure government is you and me and all the fucking man that are here right now. It's not the de facto. The de facto doesn't fucking matter, Scott. The 12 million codes, acts, and statutes do not fucking apply to you. It even says it in the U.S. code, individual person. If you don't fucking voluntarily say, I am an individual, I am a person, it says it right there in the first fucking roads. You won't even read.
The consent of the governed is
yes,
but none of that matters if there's an army of Gestapo who don't have a fucking clue about it.
Right.
Timmy,
I've been in it 93 times. 93 times. Are you not listening?
What did you do 93 times?
I've been in and out of those courts for 93 cases. Not all of them I've lost. Not all of them I've been in there through handcuffs. But I guarantee you, 93 cases I've learned. And I'm telling you, those laws do not apply unless you apply for them. And you did so through your mother in her indoctrination when she applied for enumeration at birth at the hospital when you yourself were born in a spell of illness. And they tell you this. They have a definition for spell of illness in their code. What is that telling you? Is that sick or what?
You have to write yourself out of these contracts or you're a part of it. And if you're a part of it,
dude, you have to be a man. It doesn't the fucking
you don't have to write yourself out because the writing in never happened appropriately. It was never given valuable consideration ever.
There's a difference of opinion. I'm not going to get into it. I don't have the time right now. My mom just stepped in the room here, so I need to sign off.
If one creates a U.S. security and the U.S. doesn't know about it, that is known as no consideration by the U.S. That is the problem. It is treason. It is fraud. It is insurrection. The whole 9 yards. RICO.
What do you think of the traveling without a license idea? Do you think it's nonsense? Do you think it's
no? I think it's got. I don't know. I'm kind of new to all this other level, this deeper level of law.
Then let me ask it.
Let me answer your question.
Yeah, but hold on though. Let me
answer it.
To it. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, let me add. Forget about what you know about it. I'll ask it this way. Do you believe it's your right to take whatever property you have, say it be a couch, and put wheels on it and roll it down the road and take it from your house to your brother's house down the street? Is that your right?
Yes.
Okay, what's the difference with a vehicle?
I believe that it's my right to drive a vehicle without a license too. But okay. I don't think that it will be. I don't see how you could actually live that way in today's society.
Well, definitely, obviously, nobody said that doing the right thing is going to be easy. People die for the right thing.
And you don't see how you can do that because you've not done it.
Again, that's a fair point. I haven't done it.
Yeah, and I've done it, and I'm doing it.
You have no license plate?
I have no identification.
Yeah, so I actually I do plan on definitely trying some of that stuff out. Right now I'm a registered drug offender, so I can't not have that stuff.
Sure you
There's
can.
another felony
Why
charge.
not?
Sure
And
you can. Let me explain something.
registered?
Let me explain something. Let me explain something. Did they put you on probation?
They did.
Okay. Probate. No
It's
will.
corrections technically.
Yeah, and it's probation, and it's done through a probate court stating that you never stated your will.
It was done through the DOC.
It doesn't matter. It's still a probate court. They're saying you never placed a will on the record, and you're not supposed
He signed
to
everything
on the record. The will is already on the record. His will.
I believe that what you guys are saying probably is true. I've got a year and a half till I can get it expunged. I'm not gonna mess with it. That's the truth.
No, that's not the truth. But
that's my truth. I'm not going to take the risk right now.
There you go. That's the difference. It is true. You're just not willing to take the risk because there are responsibilities you're not capable of yet. And I comprehend that. Again, you have to learn this stuff before you can pose it. So just keep listening, keep learning. I'm telling you, one of these days I will have the available remedy for myself from top or from bottom up to show you how to develop that trust and express it appropriately so they can't violate it. The public trust, they violate it all the time because none of them know how it operates.
You mentioned you have over 600 videos. What's your channel called? I didn't even know you had a channel.
El Perro.
Huh?
El Perro. E-L.
Okay.
E-R-O.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've been doing this for 7 years, 600 videos. And I tell you what, every last one of them, you can sit there and do your research and see the same things I saw. And that's why I tell you, don't believe me. Don't believe your neighbor. Don't believe the government. And for hell, do not believe
your mother.
Do your research so you know. Again, you don't know it because you haven't seen it in your life because you haven't done it. This is the whole premise with Jack. He's an intelligent man. He's done a lot of things, but what he's done is not affection. It doesn't affect anything.
Let's get real, Wizard. Jack hasn't done anything. Like, what did he do? He had a job. He had a kid.
Yeah, he learned a lot of things in that. But those things that he learned are all personal things that are not effectual in your spirit.
I'm just saying, what did he do? He had a job. He got fired. He had a wife, a child. Could possibly very well, 50.
And I was no different.
I mean, you could
until I was 50, and
you could reduce everybody's life to that.
And I understand what you're saying, Flow State, about, when you said, I can't take the risk. There was a time when I think I said the exact words when I was talking to Paul on his channel, and I said that, well, I want to fight the battles that I can win. And, despite the fact that I had fought many battles in my life to exit myself out of the system by stopping using banks, by not taking credit, gives the system is credit and debt, and because we run on that. And I did a lot of things to take myself out of the system, not holding fiat. Anytime I got fiat, I put it into something that had hard value. I did all those things, but I still had the driver's license. I knew it was not, but I saw it as fight the battles I can win. And I'm currently in a state where my plates, my vehicle's not, I didn't re-register my vehicle. So I just left it the way it is.
I did do that. That is the one thing that I can say that I'm doing is I'm driving around on, actually, I never registered the truck I'm driving around in. I just swapped the plates off a different car I have.
Well, I chose that. It's not something that just happened. I chose to not register because I want to break free in that department too. Because if I'm constantly looking to fight the battles I can win, then I'm not going to, I may win some battles, but I'm definitely not going to win the war.
No, me too. I can afford to register it. But I can also afford to take the hit if it goes totally wrong.
Right. Yeah, and it's what more fundamental right? Like people laugh at it sometimes. Oh, right to travel. Well, what's your fucking problem? Who cares? It's just a license. They don't think about it in a deeper sense. I mean, I think it's more fundamental than the First Amendment. Let's say in America, we have a Bill of Rights as well, and it's very similar. But I think it's the right to travel is more fundamental almost than the right to speak, the right to bear arms, all of that. It's like if you can't travel, you barely have the right to speak if you don't have the right to travel. If you don't have the right to move from point A to point B with whatever property you see fit. That's what more fundamental is there than that?
As I expressed to Kizami earlier, express. When you're standing in one place and your feet are pressed into the ground, you have the right to express. Okay? So your freedom of expression stands a lot stronger in action speaking louder than words. Once again, you are correct.
It's a crazy world.
No, it isn't. It's fine. Everything's normal. Just sit back, grab a coffee, enjoy the ride.
Listen to OTW Stern.
At least it's not boring.
Like, subscribe, share, and donate.
Yeah, that's a great promo. Thanks a lot, man. You're very
hey, why not? You're consistent. You're here. You've made a choice. We've seen you do this a couple of times already. You said you were going to take your 30-day challenge. You stuck to it. You showed it. You did it. You finished it. And I think you're continuing on to some degree. I'm not sure, but and now you've decided that you're going to run this broadcast, and you're doing it. You're being faithful with it. You're consistent, and I think you're going to have success. OTW.
You're here. You're queer, and we're used to it.
Despite the fact that you're a fucking Quebecer who fucking can't fucking add one.
Fuck off,
one,
you and you Ontarian.
You're still gonna fucking
Ontarian garbage.
Heads.
Fucking Ontario garbage, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's come to, you know.
How
dare you diss us Quebecers, man? How dare you?
Tabarnak.
Look how mild Canadian fights are.
All their swear words, the Quebecer swear words, they're all about something to do with the church.
The church.
Like tabarnak.
Yeah.
Tabarnak is a big swear
de
word.
tabarnak de Saint-Cyboire de sacrament calice.
Tabernacle, that's what they're using as a swear word, the tabernacle.
For real?
Colius is the chalice. Yes, the chalice. When they say colius, tabernacle. The colius is the chalice, the cup that you drink the wine from.
And they're calling you vagina?
In French,
and they're using those as slurs.
Swear
those
words.
are slurs. Yeah. Those are swear words.
We don't say
What's
fuck.
the other one? Tabernacolius.
Sacrament.
Sacrament. There you go, church.
Like,
again.
how would you use sacrament as a cuss word in a sentence?
That's what I'm telling
watch.
you. The
I'll show you.
Like,
if Lou would fucking shut up, I'll show you. Asti de sacrament calice de tabarnak. Asti de Saint-Cyboire. Okay, that's how we do it.
No, but I mean, like just like say a sentence in English.
Asti de sacrament calice, tu comprends rien.
Oui, but say a sentence in English, but then just swap in tabernacle where it would be appropriate.
Yeah, say that all in English. It makes no sense.
Shut the fuck up, Lou, tabarnak.
You have to say it in English.
Oh, I have to say tabarnak in English? Holy fuck.
So it's a name you call somebody.
So I'm going to piss you off, and you're going to go at me in English, but using the swear words that...
Okay, hold on, let me try this. Fuck you, Lou Tabernac. That doesn't sound right.
So
is it like an explanation or an exclamation, or is it like a name you'd call somebody?
It's an exclamation and a name, both, I think.
It's almost like an adjective, too, kind of.
And so it's like fuck, it's versatile.
Yes, it's very versatile. It's like fuck.
But it's not a verb.
No, they're objects, most likely, or terms in the Bible.
It's a stupid cuss word.
Yeah, I told you, fucking Quebecers are retarded.
Well, even the
your heads are
French,
the clappiest
even the
of all.
French, even the French from France think that we they don't
Oh,
understand
yeah,
when we swear like
the French hate the fucking Quebecois. They
It's
hate
not
them.
hard. It's not hard. Yeah, the Quebecois are like the hillbilly of France, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. We're the hillbillies of France. We're all
Yes,
like
it's true.
it's all the
It's true.
gypsies and all that. They were cast out of France and colonized Quebec.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened.
Take those fucking hillbillies, send them over to the fucking New World, and let the natives eat them or something, and you survived. Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the European royalty ate the natives.
Well, no, eat the fucking natives.
Just drink their blood.
No, they did not. They fucking ended up worshiping them because they saw the power that they had. They
Got to get that adrenochrome from somewhere.
They literally named their weapons after them. Tomahawk missile, Apache helicopter. They saw the power that these people had, and they were awe-inspired by it. They never saw people that were willing to die for what they believed in, like when they met the natives.
You got some blood in you, don't you?
What?
You've got some native blood in you, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm a pure WAP. I'm a pure WAP.
Well, that was a very impassionate narrative you just did there for somebody who's not related.
I love the natives, and I've always been close to natives, and I have a lot of native friends, and so it's always been. As a little kid, I remember I walked around, and one day I got to find a book like that. I don't know where it ended up. I used to walk around under my arm with this book called back then when they called them Indians, Indian Crafts and Lore. And I used to make all the things that was in this book. It showed you how to make a war bonnet. It showed you how to make all these different headdresses and all, a breastplate made out of bone. And I made all these things, and no one saw me anywhere without that book in my arm. So it's always
been. You're just a Dago fanboy.
I'm a fanboy. Yes, I am.
I am too, because it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that the English people, the white people, the Caucasians, whatever you want to call them, came over and emaciated them or destroyed the entire population. One of the populations that's closest to the Mother Earth than any other nation, and they come over and destroyed them. I hope they build back better than they've ever been before, because we miss that kind of instruction. You
can't place it on white, man. You can't place it on the white or the European or anything like that.
Well, that's why I did so many different things, because I don't know who did it, but I know it was done.
I think there was a lot of people here. I mean, there's even evidence now, possibly, that the Chinese were here at some point, and that their blood is left in the natives. It's obvious, it's visible in the Inuit and some of the native tribes, that there's Chinese blood there. So there's the Viking blood in the the more central and eastern natives. So there's been a lot of people tried to conquer them, and they were never conquered for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, until the advent of gunpowder and the broader usage of gunpowder. That's the only thing that could beat them. And even then, with gunpowder, they almost did not defeat them. They literally had to starve them out. They couldn't attack them anymore because they would, they were killing so many fucking of their soldiers. So they just started let's destroy their food source, right?
Yep, and that's where the trappers,
that's the only way they
destroyed it. Beavers, you don't have beavers around much anymore. Beavers are so
buffalo hunters.
Yep, beavers are so inherently important in the watersheds, and people don't comprehend that. They obliterate the beavers in the American continent, and now we have all these places that are drying up because of that. Period. That one thing alone.
Well, America's done a real big program. I don't know if anybody knows about it, but they've done a lot of work at reintroducing beavers into places that they had been wiped out, and coming to Canada and taking them and relocating and moving them around. And there's a lot.
And they're very specific about it, just like the grizzly bear. You go down in certain parts of Arizona, those forests down there are cut off from all the rest of the forests in the North American continent. So those bears are non-existent anymore. They're extinct in that area because bears can't survive the desert.
Well, California was literally, it was like flies, The grizzly bears, when they came to California, people were afraid because there was so many of them that, and now they're completely wiped out. They're gone from the whole West Coast, basically, of America, except for the very north, Washington, and maybe there's a few up there.
Yeah, and they can still migrate down south.
Yeah.
But whereas you got the forest area in the middle of that desert in south of North America, there they can't migrate through the desert to get there.
They don't.
What was their range? What is grizzly bear range? I didn't realize they would ever go that far south.
Well, they were there before and they got wiped out, and then mankind created the desert, of course, and that's why they don't migrate back down there. Because they migrated down there long before there was a desert there.
Fascinating.
I don't know about that, Wizard. I'm not sure about that. I think desert's always been there, but I could be wrong. But the
Sahara Desert was a sea. Sahara Desert was known to be a sea at one time. Remember the earth flooded?
Yeah, I don't know how much power we have over that. I really don't believe we have that much power. I think that it's in the hands of the creator, whatever that happens there. But they can't go through a desert, definitely. They're not a desert animal. They can't survive in a desert. But they were all the way up, pretty much up and down the West Coast, and even some pockets in the East Coast, but very few and far between. And I think they just died out on their own on the East Coast. And possibly, obviously, humans had a hand in it on the East Coast as well. But they're pretty prevalent down the whole West Coast of America and up through Canada into Alaska. They're still there, obviously.
Oh, you know what? I'm full of shit. I went on a backpacking trip in New Mexico when I was younger, and we had to do bear bags for those fuckers. I totally forgot about that. I guess I did know that, and then I forgot.
Sorry, you had to do what?
Bear bags every night. We'd have to put our food in a bag and string it up in a tree away from the campsite.
Well, there's a shit ton of black bears now where they were much less originally, because
maybe that was it.
Yeah, it was probably because of black bears. But the black bears were much less of a population when the grizzlies were there, because the grizzlies ate them. Right? They were a food source for the grizzlies. So
that would be crazy to see.
Yeah. Oh, bro, you want to see bears are, people only place their human emotions onto animals. Animals are extremely cruel. More so than anyone ever believes. Like, I wanted to say something because Paul yesterday, he was mentioning about the hummingbirds, or the other day, I don't remember when it was, about a hummingbird came to his fingers and ate from his hand. And as if that's an extraordinary thing, that they see him as who he is. Really, the fact of the matter is,
did he make that claim?
No, he didn't make that claim, but the connotation, the insinuation is there, obviously, right? And the fact of the matter is, hummingbirds, during the time of when their food source is very low, especially during hot times in the summer when things start to die off and the flowers are dying off, they will fucking come to anything that is brightly colored, red, yellow, because they're looking for a food source. And you could just hang a red, those red hummingbird feeders that people have.
Mm-hmm.
You just, and then on top of it, they know that humans like to feed them. So they've been habituated to humans. They understand during low periods of food production, they move into populated areas because they know they can find those feeders and they recognize them. So you hang a feeder out the window, they don't give a fuck if there's a hand attached to it. If they're starving to death, they're coming to that feeder. Right. And if they have to land on your hand to eat from that feeder, they damn well will. But an interesting side note about fucking hummingbirds is they are the most rapiest motherfuckers and the most violent little bird that almost exists. They're extremely violent.
You haven't seen me on a good day.
Yeah, they are fucking rapey little bastards. They're constantly raping, and they're fucking fight.
I've raped 3 times since I've been on the stream.
Practically kill each other. I would be careful saying those things on the internet. You say you add the metaverse, of course.
Well, I guess I'll take the risk. I normally have a rule for myself that like don't say anything in public or on YouTube that I wouldn't want to hear played back to me in court. But with this one, I think that's a really uphill prosecution.
I don't think you're gonna get prosecuted, but it's
and he glitched.
People can, dumb people especially can put a a connotation over your head, right? But yeah, animals are much more. They're not what people overlay onto them. They're just not. Like the whole giraffe thing. I was gonna say a few years back. Remember, there was a woman that got totally crucified because she put a picture of her and she killed this big bull giraffe, right? And they fucking crucified that woman. I don't think she's ever been seen on the she's taken everything off the internet. People were attacking her at her house. They were fucking, she seriously had problems that people were going to fucking kill her. The vegans were going to kill her. But they didn't understand what the whole story was. The story was in this particular region where
a lot of those environmentalists are anti-human more than they are.
Yeah, they definitely are. But they didn't understand the fact of what was happening with that bull. See, that bull was in a particular area where they had this huge program where they were rehabilitating the giraffe population. This was a massive, extremely large bull, much larger than normal. Freak of nature, because he was so big and so dominant that he was killing every male that was born. Everyone. He was killing them all. And he started killing females. So that he was becoming detrimental to the program of rehabilitating the giraffe population. So they basically they auctioned him off to any hunter that was willing to come in, take him, and they were going to use that money to help propagate the giraffe population. So
they do that regularly in Africa.
Yes,
they cull the herd that way.
But it's important. People don't understand the importance of hunting. Like polar bears were saved in Ontario because of hunting, right? No, wild turkeys are here in Ontario because of hunting and hunters, because hunters will pay to protect and support wildlife. The vegans don't. They don't put. No, they give their money to the WWF, which is just a New World Order fucking cash cow, right? And the fucking WWF is just going around buying prime property and then eventually developing on it. So they give their $20 a year and think they're doing something. Hunters actually do things. They go and involve themselves in bringing the wild turkeys, right? In bringing the polar bear back. To where they were almost extinct, and now they're so fucking populated, it's insane. I don't want to talk about the skin. Fuck, it always ends up there.
Go on the rants about the turkeys quite a bit.
No, it's just I understand it, and I understand how I've been involved with animals since a tiny little baby, probably 3 years old, 4 years old. So I am very in tune with animals. Not only
do hummingbirds ever land on your fingers?
Bro, I can go get you right now. There's a lot of flowers starting, so they're not going to come. And I don't think they're here yet. I think they'll be here in another couple of weeks. But the hummingbirds are just all over the place when when the flowers die out, they'll land on anybody's hand.
You're like a Disney princess. You got little Tweety birds fluttering all over.
No. I just feed the animals that are wild, that are around here, that I can help. I help them, whatever. But no, I just understand the animal kingdom a lot more than the average slave. Let's just put it that way. Okay.
Seems like you do.
I could probably name you give me a picture of an animal, I could tell you what it is. I don't care if it's African, East Asian, whatever. I probably know 90% of all the animals on the earth and what their name is and how they look, because it's been my interest my entire life. Right? It's been part of me my entire life. Animals and nature has been my entire life. So when it comes up, I have information, so I like to put it out. But I know it bores people, so I don't want to fuck OTW stream up.
OTW,
you're not
fucked shit up.
I can fuck this stream up very, very well myself. It's not very hard, man. Believe me. You just have to put up a dumb video and everybody leaves. It's that easy. I mean, we got
What dumb
59
video?
people watching right now, so please make sure to hit that like button, share this out to the world, and click the bell to get all the notifications. Leave a comment, and also everybody here on the panel, please make sure to go show some sub love over there, over to PinealPower's panel, over to Mr. Flow State's channel, and Mr. Wizard, and screw Lou. Okay, that fucking Ontarian that fucking.
Does Lou have a channel? Lou doesn't have a channel, dude.
No, I
think
don't
so.
have a channel.
No,
I don't
I'm
know.
just joking around.
I always thought I might do one, but I don't know. My daughter has one that's doing pretty well, and I see
So
how
what
much.
I'm hearing is that you just overthought it instead of just doing it.
No. I realized it's gonna be. I don't have enough tech savviness or understanding to do it, and I watch my daughter, and the amount of time she puts into just editing a video
You
is
can lose a lot of
fucking
time to editing.
insane. It's insane. Like she'll spend. Forget about even the editing. It's also doing the videoing. Like
What's her channel called?
Itself. It's called Juliana Baston, just her name. And just the video, taking the video is huge on its own. Like if you do a panel or you do like live streams, anybody can pretty well do that because you just turn it on and go. And even if you're not very good at, doing graphics and whatever, like you could still get through and do it fairly easily because it's just a question of turning the system on. And once you learn how to turn the system on, you're live and you just go, right? Let people up if you want, or you just rant if you want. But doing videos, structured videos, fuck, man, it's a lot of work. Like, she'll take fucking 5 shots of one little segment and that didn't come out right. I better move the camera here. You can't see that. And she spent 4 hours just taking 3 minutes of video, just setting up the correct shot because she likes.
Well, her shit's probably better than any of ours. Then
her what?
Her,
She does very nice videos. She does put a lot of effort into them, and they're almost I don't know. They have like almost a professional feeling to them, right? She overlays the music. She does the, walking towards the camera thing if she's going somewhere, and then showing walking away. She does all that shit, and she puts some editing quality and some production value into it. So, and she went crazy, like pretty much right from the beginning. She went crazy. So obviously it helps. She's a good looking girl, so that might help because YouTube is 90% male. So obviously I would imagine that has, but she doesn't do anything that overtly, that way.
Where in the world are you getting the idea that YouTube is 90% men? Where are you coming up with that there, Lou?
I don't know. That's what I heard. I heard that YouTube is 90%.
It is largely male. I've heard that too.
Or 80%. Maybe the numbers are wrong, but it's very high percentage of males over females, from what I understand, that watch and interact with YouTube. I mean, you could see it on the panels. How often does a woman come
Man, Lou, stop talking and drop your daughter's link in the chat so I can find it.
This is a man's channel. If you go to a woman's channel, maybe the same would be true, where it's predominantly women.
That's not true.
From what I found, that's true.
I refuse to be in any place that's called that designates itself a man's channel because that sounds.
What I mean is that Patrick is a biological male, for lack of a better whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Prove it.
True. I yield.
What you talking about, Willis?
And put her.
Let's see those Y chromosomes.
OTW, can you do it? I don't know how to put her thing in the chat.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. He asked for Juliana.
Oh, I want Lou's daughter's channel.
I don't know how to do it.
I don't even know her channel. I didn't even know.
It's Juliana Baston at youtube.com, I guess. I guess I could write that. I don't know.
It's at Jewel BM. Michelle, Colt 88.
Somebody take care of that. some mod. Yeah, there you go. Somebody will drop it.
It's in the chat.
The mods are awesome. Yeah.
Mucho gracias, mod.
Yeah, I was watching a few minutes of her last upload too, and I noticed, one thing that she's got is that she has her friend, like she was sitting in her car.
That was Patricia. She was with Patricia.
Oh, okay. Well, it was Patricia.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm assuming she had Trisha pinning the comments on the screen.
Yeah,
so she has that help. So it's like she doesn't have to handle everything at once, which I'd be more than willing to help OTW out with things like that, like just pinning comments and stuff. And I would give someone the same ability on my channel if they're interested in helping me out on future streams, because it does take a lot of the attention, a lot of the energy that I could place elsewhere in doing things behind the scenes other than looking at comments and pinning them. I tend to pin almost all the comments because they take away a lot of them for whatever reason, even ones that are completely innocent and lacking in any type of fringe, any type of controversial anything. They still delete them. It's really weird. And so
who deletes
people when they replay the stream, or for people who didn't catch it live, they can see all the comments, whether I pin it on the screen or pin it in the chat.
Who takes them away, PineAL? Who takes them away?
Whoever, the YouTube, whatever you want to call them, Google. I don't know. They take away at least 10% of the comments that aren't there. If you note it, I'll notice upon replaying that a lot of them are gone. So it's really weird. It's just it's just meddling, big tech meddling bullshit. So.
Oh, she's got way more people than I do.
How many people you got?
Like 1,500.
Oh,
numbers.
No, she's got I think almost.
She's like 47 and change.
Yeah, she's got almost 50,000. She had 500 people or 600 people at one point, almost 600 people on a live the other day. And they're all fucking like trying to, not all, but a lot of them, chipping in cash, right?
Chimping.
You ever hear that ding, ding?
What does that mean?
Just kidding. Never mind. Nothing. I don't know.
Come on, now you can't leave me.
Why you say that, PinealPower? It's not funny.
It's not funny?
What did I say? I didn't say anything. I'm muted.
Allegedly. That's not what Lou was just saying.
Nah, but yeah, I definitely envy. I don't want to say envy, but the nomad life is definitely something I've tried it before, and yeah, I love it, and I did it like practically like bum status. Like I was like practically homeless. You know what I mean? A freaking dumpster diving and all the. Again, I was dumpster diving at like organic farmers markets, and nutrition stores and stuff. So, but I wasn't going to, but still, it's a very interesting life to just see how well you can really do on little to nothing. Not saying she's on little to nothing, but she's definitely.
Yeah,
again, admittedly, I haven't watched a lot of her stuff, but I can see the gist of, the what do you call it, repurposing old vans and like that whole deal.
Yeah.
I love that, man. That's very crafty and it's cool, man. It's cool that she's doing that, and more men should be doing that, right? Myself included. So.
And it's it's really doable, and she, people, even there's channels out there, and I've seen them, of guys that literally go out and they're videoing their living basically homeless. Like they'll go and do like a camping video where they're camping in a little bush that's behind the police station, and they'll show that, look, I'm camping and there's the cops, they're parking in here, and I could see the cops there, and they're literally in this bush camping, and they get millions of views. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that you look for it on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. PineAL, that's a big thing. Like that nomad lifestyle, van life, bus life.
Oh, for sure, man.
Life thing attached to it. Juliana went kind of viral at one point with a Kia, just camping in a Kia. She had a fucking Kia and she went camping and she fucking went viral. All her videos were like fucking getting millions of views because she was camping in a Kia. Like, and people love it. you know. And then she just took it and ran with it and grew and made it expanded it and made it basically about her life, because she's not always camping in a Kia. She lives in a house, but she'll do a lot of that car camping stuff, and she likes to do, buy this trailer she's working on now. She bought an older trailer and she paid real cheap for it, and she's completely renovating it, and it looks amazing, beautiful. And her brother helps her out a lot, and I help her too. And now she's going to sell it. She's going to probably 5x her money when she sells
Yeah, I
it,
was going to ask you if you guys flip them. So okay, that's brilliant, brilliant.
She says it right up on her channel, like, she doesn't say, "Oh, I flip stuff," but she'll say, "Look, I want to make some money because I like to do this with the money," and she'll, and people are fine with it. If you're honest with the people, that I think they accept pretty much anything if you're straight with them, and if they don't like it, they just move on. But people move on anyway, right?
And that's where a lot of viewership comes from, of course, because people obviously want to know how to create income, So
yeah.
For lack of a better term.
And you, from what I understand, PineAL, you've got a couple of fairly decent talents. Number one, you're a trained chef, from what I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you even have a decent singing voice. So there's no reason for you not to have a channel, let's say, on cooking. And you do some recipes and you put them up. Cooking is huge on YouTube.
The singing chef, is that what you're trying to get at? The singing chef?
Whatever. The conspiracy chef.
My side channel.
Yeah.
The conspiracy singing chef. We can talk conspiracies, we can sing, and we can cook it up. Yeah, that's
dude, you could be making pizza. Listen, Lou, hey, my turn to
sorry.
You could be making pizza and singing when the moon hits your eyes like a big pizza. You get millions of views. Did you go viral for sure?
Bro, we had a chef back in the day here in Canada. I don't know if you remember OTW. You might remember because it was broadcast pretty much all over Canada. And he was an Italian chef, and he was probably, 3'1" high. He was this little guy. I met him a few times. I built one of his kitchens. And he was called Il Cuoco Cantarino, which in Italian means the singing chef. And so he would cook, and in the middle of cooking, he'd break out into a fucking opera. Oh, salami, and he'd be cooking. And people loved it, man. He was huge.
Wow.
So why not? You bring on the singing chef. That's beautiful, PineAL.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, now just got to do it. And stop hiding on these panels. There, I said it.
Me and my friends.
Stop doing.
They say we stand for nothing. There's no way we ever could. Where's Dickgrower? Come back to it.
I got nowhere else to go. Years old. I'm about to go into old age pension. So, and I'm thinking about starting a new business at my age. I will, but you got no excuse. You can start something and do well. You're young, you're good looking, you're smart, you have talent. What the fuck are you doing hiding on these panels?
Yeah, I've been very allergic to fiat for quite some time.
Fuck it, you need it. There's no choice. As soon as you get it, do what I do, put it into something hard assets. And I'm not talking about dick. I'm talking about if you like gold, buy gold. If you like property, buy property. If you like whatever, or like Julianne, she'll buy a trailer and put her money into that and then renovate it, put it on YouTube, make money off it in the end. Right? Instead of holding that fiat in the bank. I don't even have a bank account. I actually went to go get a bank account because now Patricia's leaving, so I have to have a bank account to pay my taxes. I don't have to, but my property taxes. Because I haven't found a way out of that yet. I'm hoping to eventually. But they wouldn't give me a bank account because there's no record of a financial. I have no record of any financial anything for the last 15 years because I've broken completely out of the system. They wouldn't give me a bank account. When the guy looked and he saw my thing, it said 0.
Yeah, that's why you need to set up a trust account. And you set that trust account up with the Postal Service. It's a worldwide trust account. You're the one that funds it.
And then I could pay my bills with that trust account. Where does the money stay?
You don't pay. Okay, listen, you don't pay the bills. You do full acquittance and discharge. That way, everything that comes into your account stays in the account as an asset. And it's what funds the payment system and gives the directive through the automatic pay to do the full acquittance and discharge.
Okay, that's a little bit of it's a little bit of Chinese to me, but I slightly understand what you're saying. Okay, but let me ask you this. Whatever I do out in the world, it's generally done with a straight exchange of fiat.
Correct.
Right? What do I do
fiat?
with
What
that?
is fiat? First, before we go, what is fiat?
It's a debt, obviously. It's debt.
No, in physical form, what is fiat?
Paper.
It's a piece of paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you write negotiations on?
Paper.
A piece of paper.
So when we're talking about that fiat, what is it? It's your word versus their word. Your word versus their word.
Oh, okay. I understand that, but I'm thinking more practically here. The actual paper note that is passed to me for whatever service I provide, that particular note itself, like someone gives me a $5 note. What do I do?
Promissory note.
Okay, so how do I install that note onto the trust or into the trust? How do I, because when I open up a bank account, right, to discharge my debts or pay my debts, I don't like the word pay, or it doesn't work, but I can use those notes. I take them, I give them to this person who calls themselves a bank, or they're a trust company. Actually, they're not a bank. Because I would never open up a bank account with these large beast banks.
Okay, a note is a promise.
Okay.
And a draft is an order. So when they give you a promise, you have to attach it to a draft and give them an order to extend the credits as they are obligated to according to the directive of this special deposit made under 50 USC 4305 for full acquittance and discharge and in accordance with 12 CFR 202.4.
Okay,
definition
so
of deposit. In
what's
every
the draft?
Lou,
wait a minute. Wait a minute, Lou. Wait a minute. I want to ask him a question. What's the draft? Because
your word versus their word. So they gave you a note with their words on it. You have to draw up a draft with your words on it. That draft is in a form of a directive to redirect the transfer, because you can't make a payment. It's an if-then-go-to program, just like a computer. And what they're doing is they're entering it into a payment system that's not supposed to happen. That creates a debt. What you do is you give full acquittance and discharge, where under that directive, no person shall be held liable in any court. So therefore, there remains no debt, and it's all cleared. It's all cleaned. It's all purified, and you no longer have to deal with that financial record. Now, when you do another incident, it creates another person and another financial record. So again, you give them the directive. Full acquittance and discharge. You do this for your public education, your medical, all of it. Selective service, all of it. You give them a new directive, because everything's been done under a presumption of an old directive, and now you're going to merge under a new name and resurrect that evil bastard. And he's now
but Wizard, I hear all of what you're saying, and to some degree that makes sense. But still, it doesn't really answer my question. Physically,
when you take that note to the house, that's a note
to my house,
right? So you put a directive.
So now I have $5 from this guy that I gave him $5 of value, and he gave me $5 of fiat, and I have this $5 note in my pocket. I take it home.
Right.
And I want to pay my property taxes with that note. But I need to do it through a trust company or a bank or,
no, you're not getting it. Again, you
No,
still
you're
want to
not.
pay those taxes. First of all, again, the law is clear. Grammar is clear. And the grammar of their code says taxes are duly paid by stamp. Okay?
By stamp?
By stamp.
Okay.
That note you have on there has stamps and seals. So you're making a payment as a agent of that trust corporation, as if though you are another trustee of that corporation. That's why you want to keep paying. Okay, if you're not a trustee, then you don't pay because you're not part of that system. So you gladly take that $5 note, you deposit it in your trust account. It becomes an asset and is not converted to anything but the credits in your trust account. Now, the taxes, that's a directive that you attach to that billing statement that says you're making a payment by a directive. That payment is for full acquittance and discharge, so that no person shall be held liable in any court. Why? Because the credits cannot be extended. If you're going to charge me, and I'm the one that funded this account, and it's a trust account now, remember that. You're no longer dealing with that bank account at administrative level. You're dealing with your trust account. And this is why I say you got to get that trust account set up with the Postal Service. Set that account up, and you deposit everything in that account as your trust. Okay? That all gets converted to credits that you can use in that system. So all the $5 notes that you deposit in there, that's their money. Okay, you can convert those to credit for their system. Your true assets, like the note to your house, that gets deposited in the same account. It's a copy with an attachment of, again, your directive that this is not a military address. This is not a dwelling. This is not a resident. This is where I live. This is where we live.
What would I call it? Like, would I call it like my domicile? Would there be a good word?
It's his house. This is his house.
His house, not even my house.
Right. This is his house. And I use it as my temple in worshiping him and protecting me from his wife, Mother Nature. See, the man in dominant role is always supposed to protect, even if he has to protect his children from his wife.
Fuck, I got to get more serious about this because
damn right, everybody does.
This is like, I believe that, I believe I've done a lot in my life in terms of breaking free and standing up for my rights and my freedoms by breaking free from the, not using the predatory banks and all of that stuff, and not dealing with the tax department and all of that stuff, and trying to work with man and as a man with other men. And I've done all that. And now that I've made the decision that I'm not going to beg them to allow me to move freely on the land that I choose to move on, I've made that decision, and I really believe that if I can find a way to understand, because I'll be honest with you, WyrdWyzard, I'm not totally understanding everything you're saying, and maybe it's just I'm a dummy, or maybe it's just I'm not listening properly, or I don't know what, but something is blocking it from getting into my head to truly see it. So I need to do more work on it. I do have people that I can use, but lately I haven't been going to see them. I got to get more serious. I have a friend, especially John, that who he's like right on the money. He's totally changed the whole system for himself and broken out. He even has his original birth certificate. He went and got it off of them. He actually holds
called
it in
the
his
act
hand.
of birth.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the footprints on it?
I believe so. He's got like all of that. Like,
that's the one you want.
Yeah,
the one with the footprints. That's called a memorial birth certificate. That's the one they're willing to give out. The one you have to buy, you have to get.
So what's the difference between that and the certificate of live birth?
Certificate of live birth. It's a birth record. It's a birth record. The other one is a birth memorial.
Sorry, Wizard, I got a phone call. I didn't hear some of the things you just said. Sorry.
Right. The one with the footprints is known as a birth memorial. You get that from the hospital.
Right.
Okay? The one with the birth, the live certificate of live birth, you get that from the state and you have to pay for it.
Yes.
Now, if you go to the hospital, you might have to pay like 50 cents for the copy because that's what they're going to give you. Right.
But you need the original.
You're not going to get the original. They're going to give you a copy.
Oh, okay.
And it's still going to be on a certificate form. Okay. That's still the hospital creating a certified statement. It is never perfected until you hold it and you make your certified statement. Without that, there is nothing in that system that is perfect, and it cannot be perfect even when you perfect the instrument, because in perfecting the instrument, what you're doing is superseding the instrument with your own statement, your verse versus their verse, your words versus their words. Again, it's synonymous with the entire system.
My buddy did. That's one thing I do remember about making the statement and changing the way I remember it is it's changing the whole meaning of that particular instrument by putting your statement on top of it. Or I did. I remember him. We discussed that.
Birth. Somebody just mentioned in the comments, and it's a good reminder. Birth means to dock something. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And that's all
shipping terms.
And that's what the administrative docket is. Whereas if you go by the postal docket, and you've got a vessel that is no longer a vessel of the United States, but has been resurrected and renamed in a merger with a foreign entity, and now goes by the Keith Thornton Little FBU and has a trust account established as the Keith Thornton Little FBU trust account. Now you have the one that's funding it, and the beneficiary is the Postal Service. A trust does not fail for want of trustee. Therefore, their administration cannot step in and violate that trust. Because both the grantor, myself, and the Postal Service, as the beneficiary of the funds that I provide in silver, will never violate that trust. Beneficiary cannot violate the trust. He can collapse it, but he cannot violate it.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's the kind of information we like hearing, ladies and gentlemen. And you can.
I did throw off the administration. I am a minister of the Word of God, known as a chaplain, the little cloak of the full armor. I don't need no salvage operations under their commercial terms for resurrections and repentance. I do that all on my own. That's my responsibility, and that's what everybody fails.
Yeah, and in my mind, I believe I have become unslaved in my mind, and physically, I probably, to some degree, I would say maybe 75%, because I think what you're talking about now is probably a good 25% of what needs to be done, maybe more, because setting up that trust and working from that trust, which is the one thing I haven't done yet, is probably, I don't know, a percentage of what needs to be done in order to completely enslave mentally and physically. So,
and I'm telling you guys, I've been doing this for 7 years, well over 20,000 hours of research. It's not all scriptural. Most of what you see is from their codes, but you see that I back it with scripture. How do you suppose that is if my research isn't in scripture? It's because I've already lived my life in scripture. And now I realize the difference between the two verses. And that's what I'm trying to point out, guys. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, before I got to get going because I got to go down and to this house.
Me too, guys. I got to go.
But I wanted to say before I leave to PineAL, if you're still here. Are you still here, PineAL? PineAL's dealing with some other chat.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
No, he's there.
No, about making that fucking step I just wanted to reinforce that idea of you taking that step to actually fucking do it, because you're young now, PineAL, and you're not going to stay young forever, my brother. You know, and I really, I care about you, and I'm saying it because of my care for you to move, like, you know, like I was saying, like I'm considering starting a new business at fucking 60. So for sure you gotta be, and definitely don't go fucking work for somebody. Just fucking don't.
I don't plan to, man.
Timmy is, that's the one thing I feel I succeeded most at with my children. The biggest thing I did well with my children, in my opinion, was convince them not to get jobs. All of them have their own business. They whatever it may be, they find a way to make money for themselves. Because I always rung it into their head to say, like, look, if you go become a fucking carpenter somewhere, right, and the carpenter boss, the leader of the crew, whatever, whoever he is, the boss, pays you $25 an hour, it means he's making another fucking $25 on top of you. So why not, instead of taking $25 and let this guy make $25 on top of you, you go do it yourself and make $50, right? Now, you can't do that with all things, but I think if you look in your life and work with the talents you have, you can find that thing where you can make and support yourself in the physical world, which in the end is going to boost your mental world and how you feel about yourself. Right. Because you can't be feeling good about yourself with what you're doing right now, PineAL. You can't be. And there's got to be some struggle.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, when you say what you're doing with yourself,
well,
what
I
do you
don't
mean?
know you. I don't know you 100%, so I don't know what you do really in your life every day, all day, 24 hours. I'm not with you, obviously. I only see you when you're on the metaverse, right? So I can't really say that for sure. But I
get that. It's often.
Yeah. So my sense would be, you know, I mean, I'm spending more time than I want to on this metaverse, and I don't think it's good for me either. So it can't. You got to be feeling the same thing at your age, probably much more, right?
I mean, in a way, I am here because I'm not working. I am trying to pursue this as a means of income. With that being said, I haven't made a penny yet. With hundreds of hours invested, really, in reality, literally hundreds of hours invested. But I realized that just like when I was graduating Le Cordon Bleu, Culinary Arts College, I did an externship. I didn't get paid for that. So
yeah, but at the same, but hold on, PineAL. You just said thousands and thousands of hours. You're not doing thousands and thousands of hours at an apprenticeship. You may do, you know, hundreds of hours, but okay, maybe. But you know what I'm saying. And then at the same time, if you're in control of it because you want to make money on this metaverse, I get that. That can be done too if you want to work at that. Like I'm saying, do the YouTube, do something.
If I'm providing value, I mean, I want to knowing that I'm providing value. I don't necessarily want to grift or so. Not saying that I haven't provided value. I feel I have. However, I guess I just, for one, I haven't figured out how to monetize, I guess, in a way that I feel comfortable with. But at the same time, I shouldn't say that because I've put forward an option for people to contribute. And, I just see the fact that I haven't gotten any as a sign that there's still some things I need to improve on, like my equipment and my, the tech that I have at hand. That being said, I have other things going on in my life that are more important and financially are requiring of me that I've been admittedly not really adding to my savings. I've kind of just been neglecting some things in my life because of the fact that there's such a big investment, things related to my health and etc. That the technology aspect and stuff with my equipment is kind of like on the back burner until I can figure out how to fund this health stuff and
what's wrong with your health? What the fuck? You're young.
I don't want to get into it, but
okay.
I'm okay. But I mean, my health is okay for the most part. I'm all right. It's just it kind of ties into more than my health. It's a physical health that actually affects my mental health. I could talk to you about it behind the scenes. I've already talked to OTW about it, but
Okay. All
it's
right.
nothing super major. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, it's something that requires a good amount of money that I just haven't put forward yet. But anyway, I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't want to. I don't want you to say anything that you don't want to say on the metaverse. I'm sorry.
So yeah,
No,
but I mean, I realize that the way I could look at it, right, is like if I were to step up my equipment game, and then if I were to, like, for instance, disclose this specific thing I'm talking about, then most likely, like what happened with Wizard, where a bunch of good faith people came forward and helped him out so that he could afford his frequency generator machine, his Rife Tech thing there, which I think is really cool, and some other expenses, herbal and whatnot. We're not giving any medical advice here, of course, but maybe something like that would happen with me, But again, I've just been very allergic to fiat in a lot of ways. I've led a very Gandhi-like, I guess, existence for quite a while here. And, I just think of money and I automatically think of, the Twin Tower symbolism on it and the fucking.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
so.
Hey, well,
it's
since
something
we're talking about, donating money and everything, make sure to hit that donation link right at the top of live chat there or in the description down below, guys, because it would really help support the channel and keep this great show going. The Grand Rising Show number 17 today. We are Thursday, April 27th. It is 2:03 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. It is 12
oh
degrees
my God, already.
Celsius over here, and it is cloudy. So thanks everybody for being here. Much love and respect to everyone who's watching right now over on PinealPower. So we have 60 people watching right now. Make sure to hit that like button. And don't forget, don't hesitate, don't be shy. Go ahead and click that donation button. And in the description down below, for people who don't want to go with the third party thing, we have the interact option where you can send it by email. So thank you very much, and much love to you all, much respect. That being said, back to you guys on the panel, sirs and gentlemen.
Okay, when we think of money, I want everybody to pay attention again. Money, in terms of contracts and stuff. Money is a matter of banking. What is banking? Banking is storing things. You put things in a drawer. Money, you put it in a cash register, a drawer. If you have special deposits, you put it in a different drawer. Everything you take to a bank, it's a storage facility. It's a warehouse. So what they're doing is warehousing the paper with all the comments on it. And that is what money is. Money, Senate document number 4, or excuse me, Senate document number 43. History of money banking, referring to contracts payable in gold, which I refer to as contracts payable in like kind, as in mankind and not person kind. So when we think of man, the man that goes out and does things, and not the person, which is the record of the man doing the things, we can comprehend the differences between like kind and not of like kind. That paper is not of like kind. It's not a true thing that I can use direct, but rather through a trustee. I'm not supposed to be meddling with the trustee. A trust shall not fail for want of trustee. Therefore, the trust I have in our Father in heaven, I can use the story of Christ as a trustee and embody him as a living being, a living soul, Christ in Eucharist, by following that same path. And that's why I say I don't see any other path. It's the only path I see. I don't know about this thing that you call hard or harder or whatever. I see it as the only path. Always have.
So taking that fiat and putting it into, or putting it, I don't know what even word to use, but taking that and converting it into something that has value, like, say, for example, my daughter buys a trailer and she takes X amount of fiat to converts that fiat into this trailer.
Right.
That's I mean, you could take it directly from your hand to another man's hand, and that's still without putting it, let's say, in a trust or converting it in. You could still do that, and that would work.
And to complete it, and I'll remind everybody, many men named their cars. Okay, I got a bike out there I just built. I named it. It's not going to have the name on it. It's going to have a unique identifier that I've already created for the trust as an express trust, an absolute now time security note, which when you punch that number into your search engine, it's going to come to my site. You're going to see the express trust. And in that express trust, I've got a trust account, and I'm going to put paperwork in there that's going to have the name on it with the number. The bike itself, it's only going to have a number. And it's going to supersede the serial number. Same with your car. Let them have that DOTVIN, vehicle identification number. But you clarify it's not a vehicle. I customized it myself. You see them wheels? I took them off and put different wheels on them when it came back.
It's funny. Sorry, Wizard, for cutting you off. It's funny that you're mentioning this right now, because this, for me, has been a very thought that I've been keeping on the forefront of my brain, because I'm in the process. I'm considering selling my truck because it's a little bit too big for what I need. And I was considering not purchasing another truck that is like whatever, a smaller truck. I was actually considering building one and taking, and buying a frame of a a product that was an older product. Like I like the early or late 70s, late 80s or mid to late 80s years, and building a truck that does not have any VIN numbers, serial numbers, and any that I could find, I would remove and replace them with my own, and build a truck that is brand new, that has no ability, no registration, no numbers to registrate.
And its use isn't commercial, it's agricultural.
Right. I've already done something where I've gave notice that my property is solely an agricultural property. It does not.
Yeah, this thing you see as a vehicle, and this man that you see as a person, I'm sorry, but this man that you see as a person is, by your definitions of the codes you follow, is an animal. That's agricultural. And I'm not transporting persons. I'm traveling myself as an animal in this temple. That which protects me from his wife, Mother Nature.
I got away because I did what I did by noticing them on the fact that this is agricultural land and solely agricultural land, because right now the city has basically crept up onto my land. It's become rural residential and
urban development.
Urban development, exactly. Something like that. And I changed it. And I did this prior to building my barn, because they wanted to charge me like almost $50,000 as a development charge just for building my barn on the place where my old barn burned down. And because of the notice that I gave them and everything, it ended up that all I had to do, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did, is I gave them a registration fee. So I let them put it in their books that there is a barn there, basically.
Yeah, and that registration fee, again, that's administration.
It was like
what you're supposed to be doing. Listen.
Yeah.
What you're supposed to be doing in my research says that, again, you're supposed to develop that trust account with the post office, because the urban development uses addresses. When you develop that land, and it's developed as trust property, it no longer reserves the address. Okay, the address may be allonged, but now it stems from the trust account. And in order for the Postal Service to benefit, they have to use that address. And that relates to the conservation easement. So what the municipality is doing is violating the Postal Service's right to maintain that conservation easement on their side of that trust account. Again, this is why I say the failure of a trust cannot be had by want of a trustee. The Postal Service is operating as a beneficiary because you're funding it through that land. You're allowing them to attach that address because they know you, and that's the conversion for them to be able to transfer any property that you collect from that commercial entity. So if you say make a custom order of a truck from a manufacturer and have it drop shipped, you're allowed to use a widely recognized commercially identifiable number in lieu of the name and address. So now you use the number, which is in accordance with the Customer Identification Program's exemption program, allowing you again to use a number. And now nobody knows the name. The name is hidden in all cases, and that number is related to the Postal Service. And I guarantee you, they will protect their benefits, guaranteed.
It's funny. That's another thing. It's funny. You touch things now that I look back that really relate in my life. That my particular property, it's on a corner, and the back, the very, very back, small, like maybe half an acre or so of my land, touches onto a big swamp. And the neighbor behind me, his whole land is basically a swamp. And because the back little portion of my land touches onto that swamp, the Conservation Authority for years was sending me every year a payment that they put on this paper saying that if I accept this payment, because I read the whole fucking thing. And when I saw it, I says, wait a minute, they're basically offering to pay me to agree that my land is conservation land and giving them complete authority over my land. And if I take and cash this check, I'm agreeing to it. So
you become a steward to the land.
Right.
And they're the grantor. And
right.
You're the beneficiary.
And what I did since I've had this land is I've always sent those checks back. I've never sent those checks. I've never taken those checks. And then when the new government came in, they created this whole area called I'm forgetting what it's called now, but basically like a wildlife area thing, whatever.
Reserve.
But it's called they call it something different. Anyways, whatever. And you look at the map of this reserve, and you see my land over it. All the other land basically throughout this whole section, because there's a section of swamp and bush that goes all the way to the lake, Lake Simcoe up here, and basically all the way down to the city pretty much. And my land is not included in it. You could see there's it's literally a square.
Ask them if the reason it's not included is because there's a military survey. See, that's what the government is. It's a military operation in all cases. Okay, Admiralty Maritime, martial law, and they're projecting civilian codes, but they have an inherent right or inherent duty, and this is the same in America, in floodplains. Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac cannot sell property that is insured unless it does not exist in a floodplain. You cannot buy property in America and have it insured through Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac in a floodplain.
Sally Mae, you talking about? Sally Mae?
Whatever it is nowadays, the government.
Yeah, well, now they call it, well, I don't know if it's the same thing, but Navient. My student loans with Navient, and there was a multi-billion dollar.
We're not talking student loans. We're talking land and real estate in floodplains.
Yeah, my fault.
And that goes, again, the ultimate jurisdiction on all land, no matter what codes they're following, is always going to go to the martial law of nations, okay? Peace treaties and stuff. But those are always going to protect the conservation easements. Why? Because those are
that's what they call it, a conservation easement. That's what they call it. The Oak Ridges Conservation Easement, they call it. And it's literally like my land. And I believe because I didn't take that money right from the beginning, and this whole program started like a couple of years after I bought the property, because they never offered me these checks after a couple of years. They've been here already, and they started this program, I think, basically to capture all this land, because it's a real corridor that bypasses a huge, I don't know, if you look at it on a map, you could see it's like a real corridor out of the city and bypasses any sort of cities or stuff like that. And I think if I would have taken those checks, like a lot of people did, most everybody, and cashed them, my property would be on that fucking survey just like everybody else's. And it's like a little dot that's excluded from the survey.
And what you could have done, again, if you had that trust account set up, is say thanks and deposit it in the trust account.
That's
with
what
the directive that you're not a civilian, that you're accepting the payments as a steward in commission with that same mission that they have to protect the land and all of its wildlife. And I guarantee you, when they walk up on you and see you with a gun and telling them to get off your fucking land, they know you're wild as fuck.
Yeah, and now I'm looking at because I'm getting older, obviously, I'm looking at taking this and with the trust and putting it in trust. I'm making my children the beneficiaries or the whatever of the trust. Is it the beneficiaries or the administrators of the trust? Because I want to pass the land on to my children. But my idea is
It
that
would be executors of the living will.
the executors, whatever, yes, and make it that somehow, because I have this idea, I don't know, maybe it's crazy, but in Italy, there's a lot of people that have land or houses or whatever, and they've been in their family for 1,000 years, like literally 1,000 years, and they just pass from member to member, and they're never sold. They just, and sometimes they sit vacant for X amount of years because there's nobody that wants to occupy it. But then whenever
the most personal contract is the passing of land from your legacy to your heirs. This is the heir chain of title. So when we think of the term contract, again, I tell people it's not to do with the size of the land, as in a tract of land. It has to do with the time of ownership. With time. Tract means time. It does not mean a space. It means time. How long did that tract of land exist in that family name before it was sold? The land shall not be sold forever, for it is mine. So who has the right to sell it? So anytime you see them saying that that contract or anything, that name, that land belongs to this, no, it doesn't. It belongs to our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. Just as the land. And in Leviticus 25, verses 23 through 25, it tells us the same thing. He redeemed us and gave us the power to redeem. What did he redeem? The land and the people. The Spirit of God moves upon the face of the waters. That's already there. That's what redeems everything, is the water. That's where the energy comes from. If you don't get up and do anything, then you don't have the energy to do what's right. I sat on that couch and I did everything I could that was right. But as soon as I was able to get up off that couch, I got up and started doing things again.
Yeah, and I better fucking take that as a cue because I got shit to do right now.
Yep, me too. I got a bike I got to go ride.
All right, guys. So thank you, OTW.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, you guys, man, for being here and contributing to the show, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Great information, great conversations. Thank you very much, sirs, for being here, gentlemen. I
Real
guess
quick,
we'll see you. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Real quick. Kissing me down in the chat. Do not misconstrue it. I never claim the land as mine. Never. Read the scripture that says the land shall not be sold forever, for it is mine, and ye are strangers and sojourners with me. The scripture says it's his. And everybody in this world believes in those scriptures. So I use it against them. I don't have to believe in the scriptures. I don't believe in the scriptures. I don't listen to the messengers. I listen to the message, and it's a moral message of how to conduct your life. And when it says the land shall not be sold forever, you have to ask, what are they truly selling? Are they selling the land? And they'll tell you no. They don't have a right to sell the land. They're selling the premises, pre-mises, pre as in prior bets, mises, bets, pro-mises, future bets. Premise and promise. They mean the same thing. It means not now.
Greetings, Nubs.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna screw off. Thanks again, OTW. Thanks, Wizard.
Yeah, get the hell out of here, Lou.
Okay.
Thank you, Wizard.
Nubs.
What's up, brother?
Do you want to play with one of my balls?
No, I'm good on that.
What a radical change of subject.
Right. I guess he's all about the balls.
I really wanted to ask Wizard a question too, but he ran. But if he comes back up, I had a question.
What balls are you talking about? I'm talking this. Look, it's a tennis ball. What are you thinking? What the fuck?
I was thinking like baseballs? It's the American pastime.
Tennis, man, tennis. Italians play tennis.
Yeah, that's for you fucking Italians.
No, they don't play tennis. Are you kidding? They don't even know what it is. Okay.
Hey, it was good seeing you, Lou.
See you guys.
But in the meantime, get the fucking work, you lazy bastard.
Lou Bass.
I gotta wait for him to get off of the panel. That way I can really talk shit, you know?
Let's talk about how pigs were genetically engineered to be humans/boars.
Well, we just had one. Come on, Lou is a prime example.
Oh man,
I love that. I love that fucking nasty Italian bastard up there in Canada. I'll tell you, if shit hits the fan, I'm headed to lose. I'll tell you that.
I got a great clip, man. I got a great clip that OTW could play here if I could find it. Yeah, let's see if I can find it. Perfect for Lou leaving and you know, kind of talking behind his back, kind of a deal. You know,
yes, always stab him in the back. You know, that's the way of men.
That's what I was taught. Nah, I'm kidding. But here we go. Let me see if I could drop this in the private chat.
Always a pleasure, Kizum. You're always welcome, sir. All right. So it looks like things are chiming. What are you guys up to? What are you up to, Nubs?
Just working on the investment property.
All right.
We're getting some tenants in here at the end of the week. So just finishing up painting and new sink install, you know, all the little shit. How about you, gentlemen?
The video is not available.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's not available. I don't know why.
Let me try again.
Oh, never try, man. Always do. You get more done.
Anyway, guys, I'm about to shut the show down in about 7 minutes. So do you guys have any like kind of final words you would like to say to the audience, or maybe even promote the channel or your channel or whatever? The floor is yours. Got a few minutes.
Well, I don't have much to say, seeing I just jumped on, but nevertheless, it's a pleasure speaking with you, gentlemen, always.
I might be going live later on today. I'll see how things progress during the afternoon, but yeah, it could be a possibility.
All right, I dropped it again. I don't know if it'll work, but whatever.
Hold on, let me go check.
You guys want to see some beautiful old world woodworking?
Sure. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Wow.
If it weren't a rental, I would definitely restore it to original.
Wow.
However, being a rental and all, you know, tenants are not necessarily as careful as, say, a homeowner per se. So,
right.
But it's the only part in the house that has the original working. Everything else has been updated with new trim when we bought it and everything. So
Right. Actually, that's a very nice place. It looks pretty big.
It's a full duplex. What is it? 2 bedrooms down here, 3 bedrooms upstairs plus the attic.
And how much is that going for in your area?
Well, the way it's set up with the mortgage, or with how we have it doing, technically it's 17 on the books for the lower level, but that's not the actual price. It's more like 15.
Right.
But yeah, so
And
you're looking
how
at
many bedrooms?
for down here, it's 2 bedrooms, and then you also have full access to the basement.
Right. So that
So
means
it's-
like downstairs would be more expensive than upstairs?
The upstairs, we have it separated into specific rooms, and it's communal living up there.
Oh, okay.
So we rent the room as opposed to the unit.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. So, and then my business partner lives up in the attic, and basically the way it works out is after everything is said and done, the mortgage is paid and we make just a little profit, and he is able to live at no charge. So he literally gets paid to live here.
Cool. Awesome trade-off. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the greatest of neighborhoods, but it's one of those quote unquote up and coming neighborhoods.
Right.
They just like to burn things down across the highway though. So have riots,
Okay.
you know, rip up the neighborhoods and everything like that. It's great. We get deliveries of, you know, pallets of bricks all the time, just randomly.
Wow. That's awesome. Dude, but you have to show up earlier in the show so we could talk about all that health stuff, and because you have a lot of knowledge on that stuff, man, and I would really like to get into that, man, with you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're at the end of the show, and I'm going to pop up the end song soon there. I was going to wait to hear from PiNEAL before we go. So PiNEAL, please, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Get up off your ass, man.
Hey, you know, I was actually just about to ask you on that topic. You tell me to get up off my ass. I just sat down for the first time in this whole stream. This whole stream I've been standing. That's why you see me like this. So I was going to ask you, do you ever do the same? Do you ever stand during the broadcast?
Yes, I do. I have to go pee once in a while.
Well, I would challenge you, sir. I am challenging you, sir. Since you did a 30-day challenge, I don't see why you couldn't do this. Try to see if you could spend every moment you're on camera standing, or a variation of that, like maybe 50% of the broadcast standing, or you know, something, and see if it's any more challenging.
Something. Okay, wait. You got to define your challenge.
It is a challenge. It is kind of a challenge. I will admit, my feet get kind of tired, and like, because I do this thing where I kind of lean on one, and then once I take my lean off that, I could feel the, you know, in my ankle and shit. So I shift to the other. It's best to just stand neutral. But yeah, I'm challenging you, sir. I'm challenging you, sir. Let me see that bong, bro.
That what? Oh,
wow, that's just ridiculous. That looks like the one. What's his name had yesterday?
It looks
Maddie,
like a trumpet, man, or a saxophone or something. Yeah,
I got
awesome.
I have a lot of trauma, if that's the right word, memory in my memory. A lot of trauma in my memory with past glass. I am a glass head, but I'm a glass head currently with no glass. I have no bongs or anything, and it's unfortunate, but I will get one day again. It's been a while, but they do break. That's the bad thing. They are, you can break them. That's where the trauma comes from. But yeah, beautiful.
There's a couple of breaks in this one.
Wow.
But she holds. I mean, you're throwing that much wax through it, it just smooths out the inside. And
you got a reclaim? I mean, a nectar collector or whatever?
Yeah, he does.
So how do you get that out? You just get like a
Pop
tool?
off the top.
Where's it
Towards
broken?
the-
It doesn't look broken at all.
It's broken in the glass itself, like deep inside, because it's actually not even mine. It's my business partner's. But the way that we put the little dabber thingy in there, it breaks the insides. Not to mention that, I mean, it's used.
So
That
you
thing's
just
probably
lodge the dabber in there to temporarily fix it, kind of thing? Wow. That's clutch, bro.
All right, guys. So you know what I want to do to end the show. I would like to thank everybody for being here today, and at the same time, I wanted to bring a little homage to Mr. Jerry Springer himself, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna end the show with a great song. It's called "Crown." Here is the king of this crazy type of broadcasting.
Yeah, you gave me a great idea. Not to interrupt, but I'm going to play a commercial from when I was younger. I was actually on a spot with Jerry Springer because my grandma was friends with Jerry, and because she had a talk show. And I was actually, one year I made the show, and right after his commercial spot where he comes and says hi to her and the audience and stuff, I come on with my commercial where I'm advertising fucking baklava or something. But yeah, I'm going to play that today in homage to Mr. Jerry. So R.I.P. Jerry.
Yeah, we'll go with. I was gonna say Crown, but I changed my mind. I'm gonna go with Grateful. We were grateful for you, Jerry. Great show you had. Here you go.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
stream. So I guess nobody heard me, right?
My apologies. I'm working on something, and give me a second. All right. Catch you
I
guys
didn't hear
later.
what you said.
It's okay. I was gonna say, like, everybody, peace out, everyone. Much love. And then yeah, that's it. Whatever. Anyway, thanks for thanks for being here. See you tomorrow morning, guys.
R.I.P. Jerry.
Peace out.